a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking American. This MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. This for free thinkers only, you ain't got no membership. They free General Flint out the cage cause he innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the run know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement. Tell Jussie Smollett that I know this MAGA country. Tell China we know they...
My fellow Christian warriors, set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation. Be saints. That is the freedom that I wish.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the XJW Political Corner. How is everybody doing tonight?
Good.
We got Jimmy in the house.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all having a great night. Skitty says hi.
Oh, she's so cute. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy you're here early, Jimmy, because there's just so much to go over that I was like, I don't even know what to title this. Like, there was just back to back to back to back, everything being posted on X that I was like, and we're only in January. Oh,
And we're only in the we were the first. This is the first week. 1 week. It's been insane
Oh, that's
in a good
right.
way. In a good way.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So before we get into the topics that we have tonight, just want to say hello to everybody who's watching. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat. If you're watching, let me know. Say hi. How are you guys doing? We always got John Marciano, always here early and ready. Hi, John. We got Rosie, Tony, Michelle, Doreen. Hello. JG, Shot Composer. Who else is in the house? Thrifty, Debbie Smith. All right. Hey, guys. That was a great video that I just played.
Yeah, it was good. I saw that earlier this week. So, yeah, let's keep an eye on the live chat, see how many people we actually have coming. What's your record so far, Ruby?
It was like 109.
109? Okay.
Yeah, and that was on 2 platforms. So I guess we will see. Oh, Gigi's in the chat early. Joseph and Susan, welcome. Wow.
We won 125 on the live chat, folks. So go ahead and share this video. Share the link to the video on your platforms. Let's get this out because we got a lot of information to go over tonight.
Yes. Please. Hi, Dan. A lot of new names in the chat. I'm so glad to see you guys here because it's just a lot. Donald Trump even has ex-Jehovah's Witnesses talking about him. That's how big he is. You know, like he even got us riled into everything that he's doing. Oh, San Diego, Eric, Constance, hello.
I think you're going to see quite a few new names tonight, only because yours truly is back on Facebook.
Yup, and you've been promoting it like crazy. And every single time I see you talking about it, me and Tony were dying laughing. I'm like, yo, Jimmy hijacked my show. That's all he talks about now. He should just be like an official co-founder or something because he is talking about it all the time. And we're like, oh, Jimmy has so much fun and he gets to talk and be himself. And that makes me happy.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it. I mean, I really enjoy doing videos. And there's just times that I just don't feel like doing a video of my own. So let me go on and collaborate with somebody because it's so much more fun that way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy that you're with me. It makes me feel like I have my uncle back because that was my introduction to like politics and conspiracies, and it makes me feel like I have that spirit is with me, you know, like I love you here.
I have no problem being your uncle.
Oh man, guys, thank you. Wow, thank you to everybody in the chat. All right, guys, if anybody wants to join, you are always free to join. There is a link at the top of the chat. If anybody is watching from X, you can join the party on YouTube. There's a StreamYard link and you can join us. We are a group of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who were really never political, couldn't even have an opinion about it. But now that we are no longer Jehovah's Witnesses, we are finally being opinionated and talking about politics. So this is new for us, but we are not afraid. So if you come on here, be prepared.
Yeah. And for those in the chat that were giving me crap last week about getting a power pack and all that good stuff, I have ran my extension cord out here. I do have my charger. So when my phone gets down to 50%, I will plug it in. So just in case we go longer, which we normally do anyway. So there's that.
Yeah,
so
I usually
go
power
to like tonight.
Midnight. Yeah,
and I got heat, so I'm good to go.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. I like Michelle's comment. She says 2 things that I'm loving watching happening right now is the J6ers being pardoned and released left and right, and all the criminal illegal immigrants leaving. Did you see the video with Dr. Phil?
Yes, I did see that.
Gold.
Yeah,
That was gold. I loved it. I am in shock that Dr. Phil is actually doing that. I didn't really take Dr. Phil as, you know, like as anything. You know, I didn't think he was gonna get involved.
I haven't looked into that. I don't know why he's with them on doing that, but it is whatever, you know. Yeah, it is whatever.
I did see a joke though on X. They were like, how ironic is it that now Dr. Phil can catch you outside? Because remember when he was doing the whole that rapper girl, she was like, catch me outside.
Yeah.
And now Dr. Phil is catching all of them outside right now.
Yep, sure is. So hey, before we get into the topics of discussion, because I did send you a bunch today. Do you want to talk about this Operation Spotlight first, or do we want to wait? Or do we want to wait till we get more people on? Where are we at right now?
Right now we are at 39, which is pretty good. 40. It's still popping up because I just started. But, yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, we can talk about that later once we get more people on, because I want as many eyes as possible on it.
Okay, so I'll let you know what kind of number are you looking for, so that I can just pop in.
At least 75, 80.
At least 75, 80. All right, guys, let's see if we can do this. 75, 80. That's the goal. So we can talk about updates about Operation Spotlight. Some of you might know about it, but we're gonna go a little bit more in depth. I want to say hi to a new person in the chat. GT Western says, hi all, 3:10 p.m. Wednesday, New Zealand time here. Whoa.
Yeah, we got
worldwide.
Yeah, we got Tony on here, and he's in the chat as well. He is from Sydney, Australia.
Wow, Australia.
Yep.
That is nice.
I'm bringing you viewers, Ruby.
Wow. Amazing. Let me see if I could find the clip of Dr. Phil for Debbie, because she's asking what happened with Dr. Phil.
All right.
And apparently Dr. Phil is going he's doing like a ride along with the ICE agents catching up illegals. So this is one clip. I could just play it.
What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? You have a first and last name.
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
I've been in the system before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charged where?
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen,
Yes.
but you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know.
I see a Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really.
You've never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take them in and process them, lock them up.
Got it, sir.
Wow. Yep, busted.
By the way, I know Trish from New Zealand. Hey, Trish, how you doing, dear? Good to see you.
Nice. Welcome. Yeah, so that's the clip that I saw on X, and I think that's amazing. A lot of people were saying that they should do a show like Cops, but with ICE, with the whole music and everything.
It would be more entertaining to watch that. I could watch 4 or 5 hours of that than watching the upcoming Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That would be more fun.
Yep.
So just let folks know, sometimes we get a little slow start, but once we get going, we get rolling.
Oh, yes, because I have a lot of things in the bookmarks. I've just been bookmarking everything, and then I just wait till 9 p.m. to start looking at my stuff that I want to bring up and talk about.
Well, I tell you what, why don't screw the numbers, because I know some folks are going to tune in, and folks probably won't stick around, all the way to the end. So let's go ahead and get the Operation Spotlight thing out of the way. Folks can
Okay.
catch back up, and because I know you wanted to talk about that. Because once we start talking about everything that's been going on the past week, we're not going to want to get off that subject. So
Yeah. All right. So Operation Spotlight, Jimmy has started a great campaign that he wants all of us in our community to get involved in. We talked about this before on the news segment, and Jimmy has been really on top of his own channel and sharing it with us. So now that he's actually here, I'm gonna let him explain everything that has to do with Operation Spotlight so that we can get on board with this. Go ahead,
Okay.
Jimmy.
All right. So as some of you guys know, I have a team assembled, and what we are doing, and I'm not giving the names of the other people on the team right now, only because trying to keep their privacy until we get this letter written. But what we are putting together is a letter to President Trump explaining why Watchtower needs to be investigated on a federal level. There are several different things that we're going to include in this letter. And I've highlighted those on my YouTube channel. I'm just not going to go through all of that this evening. But basically, my goal and my vision for this is I believe that Watchtower is already in the crosshairs of the white hat military. Trump knows about Watchtower. I believe all that's is taking place. And one of the things that, make me feel that way is because of Executive Order 13848, which talks about seizing the assets of organizations that are involved with child trafficking and crimes against humanity. And I do feel that Watchtower is part of that. And so when it comes to the seizing the assets, the only thing that I think about is over the last 3-4 years, how much Watchtower has been hemorrhaging money and trying to get as much money in to their coffers as possible. So my thinking behind this letter is to flood the White House with all these letters, and that way it will show them that they have public support for going after Watchtower. Like I said, I believe they're already doing it. But if they know that the public is behind them, then that's a good thing. That's that whole military-civilian alliance thing that I've talked about before. It's kind of like with Trump and his presidency. He had to make sure he got the people behind him, and now he's got a freaking mandate. So what we're going to do is I listed out a rough draft. Or I mentioned a rough draft the other night on one of my shows or one of my videos, and my team has already worked on part of their rough draft as well. So, and I'll be working on mine tomorrow, and we're going to get this done. I'm hoping to have it done by Friday. And what'll happen is I will set it up in a way to where folks can get this letter. They don't have to write anything if they don't want to, but I'll have it set up on the letter to where folks can sign their name and say, hey, I am a witness to this letter. I'm a witness to this. I'll figure out how to word it, but you'll be able to sign your name to this letter, agreeing and supporting what is in this letter.
Right.
And if someone wants to, then they can write their own personal letter, because the reason I say that is because there's just so much to expose about Watchtower that I can't put everything in this letter, because it would be 20 freaking pages long. And so we're trying to grab the attention of the president, get him to look at this, and then delegate it to somebody else in his administration or whatever. I don't care. But one of the things that I'm going to put in the letter is this is just basically the tip of the iceberg of this organization. We have a lot more stuff that we can share. We have stories from child sexual abuse survivors. We have stories from other people that have dealt with things in this organization. And we would be more than willing to share that with your administration or whoever takes on this endeavor. Now, there's, like I said before, there's a good possibility that this could fall flat on its face. This could absolutely go nowhere. But if we don't do anything, then we get nothing in return. So this is something that I want to do. I wanted to go worldwide. Like I said, we got folks in Australia, we got folks in Spain, New Zealand, Venezuela, Colombia, Norway, the UK. We've already got people on board just waiting for this letter. And I want the letters to come from all over the place and go directly to the White House. And so that way, you know, they'll see that. Now, one of the things I definitely want to do is when you do send this letter in on the envelope, I want you guys to write on there Operation Spotlight on the outside of the envelope. So that way, when it hits the mailroom and they have all these letters, they're going to see this Operation Spotlight and they're going to be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And somebody's going to open it up. Okay.
Right. Somebody will.
It's going to happen. So that's one thing I definitely want to do. And Shaq made a comment. Shaq Composer made a comment that I saw. And we definitely want to set a time, basically a go time. So once I get the letter written and we all approve it on our end, I'm going to, get a Dropbox set up or something set up to where people can go and access this letter. They can download it. They can print it off. They can sign it and drop it in the mail. But I want to have like a go time. Say, for example, all right, everybody, on February 8th, start sending your letters. And I want all these letters to be sent off before March 1st. Because I want it to inundate. I want it to flood the White House mailroom.
Yeah.
And so that's part. I got more, but do you have any questions, thoughts, anything in the chat so far?
Everybody is in agreement with this operation. They think it's a great idea, especially the name of it. We do have some questions. Doreen was asking, like, what should be at the top of the list when you're writing this draft? And I have two good ideas. Like Jimmy already mentioned it, the CSA issues should be at the top of that list. Protecting children should always be at the top of every list. And then I was also thinking about the immigration problem. We do know that Jehovah's Witnesses harbor illegals in their kingdom halls and things like that. So that would be another good one.
I do have another source that contacted me today that said, Jimmy, I've got some information that might help in the letter. And it's in regards to the illegals and the fact that the Watchtower organization was wanting their congregates to house some illegal aliens.
There you go. Yep.
And there's money involved in that. So Watchtower was probably getting paid to do this. Because we know that's how it's always about the money. But,
right, exactly.
So if Watchtower is taking this money in, but asking its congregants, hey, can you house these people? Is Watchtower sending that money to that house to help feed those people? Probably not. They're keeping it for themselves. So that source is supposed to send me some information and I'll take a look at that and see what about putting it in there. The three things that definitely are going to be in this letter are how Watchtower violates our basic human rights.
Yes.
We know Trump is about people and their constitutional rights. The second thing would be the CSA, pedophilia stuff. That's definitely going to be in there. And examples from other countries of different cases that were conducted. Those are going to be listed because we want to give references in this letter and sources. And the third thing is questioning their 501(c)(3) status and the obligations that anyone who accepts a 501(c), the things that they have to do. And we're going to highlight how Watchtower has been violating those things. So those are the main three. There's a couple of other things we're going to put in there. But again, I know folks have other ideas. Hey, Jim, and shunning is mentioned in one of the rough drafts as well. But I know there's so much that we could put in. We've been
Mhm.
not silent, but we've known so much that we could just spill the beans on everything, but we can't do that because this has got to be quick, precise, and to the point with no
Right.
rambling. That's why I'm going to set it up to where, if they want more information, I've created a email address to where, they could respond back to us. So
Mhm.
this could be just the first step.
Yeah. Okay, good. And if anybody wants to contact you through that email, I'll also put it in the description after the live so people can just email you directly. And also another good idea that everybody was talking about was a colored envelope, because the blue envelope for Watchtower was about CSA issues, I believe. I'm not sure, but that's how they knew. Okay, so that's how they knew it was different type of mail when somebody would send in to the legal department or whatever. It was blue, so they were wondering if you would do something similar with a colored envelope.
I have no preference to that, because the only thing, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but then you have to go find a freaking envelope.
Yeah, that is available to everybody. Like, I don't know how accessible that
Yeah,
is.
I don't know what the availability of colored envelopes are to other countries. I have no clue. It could be as easy as getting a cup of coffee. I don't know, but that's why I don't care. You want to use a colored envelope? I'm not going to make that a big thing, because I want the Operation Spotlight on the outside of the envelope. It doesn't matter if that's there.
Good idea.
I'm cool with that. I did have a couple people ask me, well, Jimmy, is this something that we can download and use to send to other leaders of other countries? So this is what I'll say. I don't have a problem with somebody using our letter as a framework or as a reference for them to write their own letter to their own leaders. Because the way this is going to be worded, it's going to be worded directly to President Trump. So it's going to sound kind of weird if you just download it and send it to the guy in Australia or the guy in Spain or whatever. And I'm also asking very politely that if you do decide to do that, please do not use the name Operation Spotlight, because this is going to be specifically set for this letter to Trump. So I just ask that respectfully, kind of like for a copyright thing, because I know how some people can end up being. They're only, well, this was our idea. We did this. No, the fuck you didn't.
Yeah, right,
So,
right.
So I'm going to make sure that nobody hijacks this, because there's been too many times in the XJW community where somebody will come up with an idea, and then 3-4 months later somebody says, "Oh, well, we came up with that idea." Blah 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 blah. There's people like that in the community.
Yeah,
So,
I was just going to
unfortunately,
mention that. Yeah, like you can create your own logo, and that logo can be transferred into like a sticker or something, and you can put a sticker or a stamp or something. Like we could get creative and get really official with this. It depends on how far you want to take it, because that's easy to get done.
Yeah, and there's going to be another wave, because we can also take this and design the letter, go in and after we send it to Trump, I can go in and reword a couple of things, and then we can be sent out to the Supreme Court justices, or it can be sent out to governors. It can be sent out to AGs. I mean, there's a lot of different options that we create for ourselves by doing this. And so I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, the team has done really good. Y'all are going to be surprised on 2 of the names that I have. I'll just say this: one's a lawyer, so that's good.
Nice.
So that's a good thing. Any question? I know I had some other things, but any questions so far?
Not so far in the chat, but if anybody does have a question, please put it in the chat now so that I can start it and bring it up. I was also thinking about doing like a online campaign using the hashtag Operation Spotlight. Like when you're ready for that, we can start doing that on Twitter, Facebook, all social media. We can start using a hashtag. We can start putting stories, or even on Discord. because I do have my own server, XJW Political Corner, I could put a tab and call it Operation Spotlight. And if anybody wants to go on there and ask and talk and just, you know, socialize on there when it comes to that, I can create a tab for you, and you can, you know, you can delegate that tab. There's a lot of things that, you know, that we can do.
Yeah, I definitely want to promote this in the community, because there's going to be some folks that may not hear about it yet, and they might hear about it, you know, 2 weeks from now, and they're going to be like, well, what is this Operation Spotlight thing? What is this? So I definitely want it promoted. And if you're someone that is on board with this, go find my YouTube videos, very easy to find, and share them. And let's get as many people involved in it. And here's my thinking. We all talk about being activists or digital soldiers, but everybody says I put this out the other day. Everybody says they're an activist or a digital soldier until activist or digital soldier work comes up, and then they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's your chance to put your money where your mouth is if you're an activist, because all this is, you go to the Dropbox, download, print the thing, read it, sign it, put it in an envelope, and send it off. That's all you got to do.
Yes. And Doreen was asking about Reddit, since there's so many XJWs on the subreddit. It would be, I think, a good suggestion that I would give is for you guys to share our links to the subreddit. And if anybody else is interested in collaborations with either one of us, then you can tell them like to email us. Like put all our information there and put the links to all of the YouTube, especially Jimmy's channel, like link all of his videos talking about Operation Spotlight. And that way it can spread further and farther to the community. And, you know, this should be something like a, you know, I don't know how to word this, but this should be past our differences, because I do know a lot of people might not like us. And it's not about liking us or disliking us. This is bigger than us. It's about the activism towards Watchtower. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
That's exactly.
So
yeah. Let me touch on that, because
yes,
you know, when I first started in the XJW community, the biggest thing I wanted to do was to unite people to fight against Watchtower. But unfortunately, what I had found out is everybody just wanted to bicker between each other, or, you know, fuss at you because you're a Republican, or fuss at you because you're a Democrat, or whatever. This right here, this is a unifying moment for the XJW community. I don't care if you hate Trump. Do you hate Watchtower more? And if you do, get on board. There have one of the most popular comments I've gotten. Let me put this out. One of the most popular comments I've gotten so far from the naysayers, and I said I was going to say something about them tonight, and you know I will.
yes, go ahead.
So one of the biggest things is, oh, I think this is going to be a waste of time. And do you think Trump is actually going to do anything? You know, he's involved with, you know, SA, or he's involved with this, blah, blah, blah. And this is what I tell those people, okay? If they say, do you think Trump's not going to listen to you? And I mentioned this before about the Lumbee Indians. You know, the Lumbee Indians, they wanted to be recognized as an Indian tribe for many decades by the federal government. They're a Native Indian tribe down in southern North Carolina, and I know them very well. Sold insurance to them for 7 years. So I know this fight. And this group of people, it's a smaller amount of people than what we have in the XJW community. We are larger than the Lumbee Nation. And Trump listened to them and signed an executive order to recognize them federally as a Native American tribe. So if he's going to listen to the pleas of this group, why wouldn't he not listen to the pleas that we have? So
yeah, I agree.
So for somebody that says that just tells me that your TDS is kicking in again, and it's blinding you to the actual goal of this mission. And this is a mission. That's why I named it Operation Spotlight, because it is a mission. And when you have a clear goal and a clear vision of what you want to accomplish in a mission, nothing, not even the naysayers, is going to sway me from that. It's going to happen with or without them. I'd rather
Yeah,
it
and
with
there's
them.
nothing. Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing that you can lose from doing this. You know what I'm saying? This is
No.
also just for you to feel like you are doing something, like Jimmy always talks about. So I'm totally there with you. Everybody in the chat is there with you. And so yeah, if you want to start posting it on other platforms, just share Jimmy's video links, share this link, and spread the word like that. I mean, we're obviously going to do it ourselves, but if you also want to share it, definitely share it, and we can get more people on board with us on this. So hopefully, I'm optimistic about this. I'm happy. I'm excited. I think that I trust this administration more than the last
Oh,
to
I would
do
have never.
something like this.
I would have never suggested sending a letter to Joseph Biden because it would have literally gone nowhere. Okay, nowhere. I already know that it would have gone nowhere.
Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing, this is something that has not been done by the XJW community. This is something that's never been done before. We've
Right.
never gotten together from many different countries sending a letter to a president. But what I
Right.
am doing, and this is something I've learned being a digital soldier, we're using Watchtower's playbook against them. Think
Yeah.
about what they wanted to do with Russia and the letter writing campaign to Russia. So we're flipping it around and using it against them.
Yep. And there's power in numbers. I think if all of us start doing a mass post or a mass call to action, it can happen. We just need everybody to do this. Not just me, not just Jimmy, not just the few people on his team. I think everybody needs to start sharing this everywhere and use the hashtag XJW.
Yeah, and as soon as I get the final letter, as soon as I get it, I'm going to announce it. And then you guys will find out who else is on the team. And then once we put it in the Dropbox and we set a date to go, that I will put that out. And when I do put that out, please help me along the way to get the information spread across the community, in your XJW Facebook groups, Reddit, Twitter, X, whatever. We want this to happen because I swear there's no reason at least 2,000 letters show up at the White House. There's no reason why that can't happen.
In America alone, I think it's possible, let alone the world. So talk to your favorite YouTubers. You know, a lot of you guys watch other channels. Comment, email them, share that information with them. If they want to get involved, let them contact us, email. I think that's a great way of spreading the word.
Yeah, and if you run across somebody, that's going to give us crap about that, tell them to talk to me. I'll talk to them. And if I have to, I'll call them out publicly. I don't care. Because I'm done playing games with some people. Done.
Right. No, I get you. but like I was also thinking, like, the whole was it Be Free protest that they did at the White House, the XJWs that went to Washington, D.C. and everything.
Right.
The organizers to that, she's here in Tampa Bay. So that's somebody who I can contact. I can meet up in person. We can talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might know somebody or be closer to somebody that maybe we are not as close. So you can connect and network and then bring everybody to the table when we're ready to start giving updates and we're ready to start organizing and moving forward. So that's a great idea. Talk to somebody who you might know in the community that might, look at your comment or something, or email them. And, like, I'm a viewer. I would like for you to get involved and use your platform to share this, to share this information.
I've also had some other folks send me messages say, Jimmy, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. Can I help? Absolutely.
Yes.
If someone's not a Jehovah's Witness, they can send a letter too. I don't care. The more people involved, the better. And what's it going to cost? Less than $1? A little bit of time and $1 for a stamp at the most. and an envelope.
Yep. And Thomas says, how about getting some letters to our attorney general? That's what I said last time. The local officials are even better than the White House, in my opinion. So if you can talk to somebody, definitely do that. Send it to your local AG, your local, city hall or whatever, your governor's office. These are the people who need to start, who are supposed to listen to your grievances as citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do violate our basic human rights with the shunning policy, with not letting us vote in politics, without letting us get involved in certain things that every American is entitled to. Why can't we do it just because we're witnesses? That doesn't make any sense.
And you could just write on a separate sheet of paper, hey, Mr. Attorney General, my name is such and such. This is a letter that we as a community wrote to President Trump. We want you to read this as well and see if you can apply it to your jurisdiction as well. You don't even have to reword anything. You could just write a letter and just say, hey, this is what we sent to Trump. We want you to read it too.
Yes. Welcome to the stage, Gigi.
Hey, hey, I'm going to come on later because I want to talk to you about the nuclear bomb that went off this weekend. And it was
which one?
I'll tell you guys about it later. But I just wanted to say about this thing, Operation. There's a lot of people who leave the Jehovah's Witness religion and then they become like Christians, right? They become born again or they become whatever. And I've encountered problems with them too. But here's the thing. I found that the agnostics and the atheists helped us out when we protest. And the people that were like Christians on the down low that were, that they had issues, maybe like alcoholic Christians, and they don't want anybody to know. So, all of the deadbeats, they were the ones that were at the protest in New York, and all of the spiritual minded XJWs, they didn't want to help us out, and that was a great learning experience. But what I say is this: Jesus said, if somebody asks you to walk a mile, so if Jimmy Bell says, Gilbert, can you walk a mile with me? Okay, I'll walk 2. I'll write 2 letters, one to the president, one to the attorney general, and one to the governor. I mean, I'll walk that extra mile. And so the way I look at it is like, I think it's shameful if you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness. It is so shameful to not help out other people, whether it's Vern or whether it's, Joe and Fran or Six Screens or whoever. If somebody's coming with an honest, very low budget, just a simple letter, and you can't do that, that really is shame on you. And I don't want to be, I'm not trying to pick a fight with anybody, but, if I was able to go door to door and pass out magazines, I can't write a letter and put it in a blue envelope and send it to the president. I mean, come on.
And again, Gigi, this crosses over any political divides that we may have, any beefs we've had with anybody. This is, I swear, it's a freaking unifying moment.
Yeah.
And I said it before, and I'll just say it publicly. If you can't get on board with this truly, you have shown yourself.
Exactly. And all of everything that you learned inside the church of the Watchtower, you just flush it down the toilet, man. You can't even walk a mile with somebody. And if you can't walk a mile with us and just send a blue envelope to the president, what are you going to do when they ask you to help out in a local food pantry? What are they going to do when they ask you to help out, cleaning up the neighborhood because of the fire or whatever? Like you said, your true colors come out. And so I'm just saying, hey, come on, man, everybody just jump on and just tell us what to do. And I'll put that 50-cent stamp on it. But yeah, I'll come back in a little bit later when you guys get into the deeper politics.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is the moment. I mean, I would put everything aside, and if Ron Pomo's watching, I will do this letter with you, Ron. Come on, join me. You know what I mean? Like, this is more than just those little petty dramas. So this is a unifying moment. I like that. And
when I have the naysayers come at me, I'm like, this is what I'd say to them. I'm like, well, it can't hurt. And if you have any better ideas, I'm all ears. And I've sent that out to a couple of people and they've never responded back to me with a better idea. So it just shows to
Yeah.
me that they're being little trolls, or, there was one I had one, I think they were Jehovah's Witness, that commented on my YouTube channel and said, "Oh, this ain't going to work because Jehovah's going to rebuke you."
Wow, really?
Oh yeah, they said that. I was like, I just gave laugh emojis. I didn't even engage anymore. I just gave laugh emojis and moved on.
Yep. All right. Well,
So-
thank you, Jimmy, for thinking about this, for even calling me about it, letting me be of any help. Thank you for letting the chat know, the audience. This is something that everybody can get behind. So thank you so much for doing this.
I did see somebody real quick asked about the email address. The email address
Yep.
is operationspotlight@yahoo.com. And you can send me, suggestions. You can communicate with me there. But that's the email address, operationspotlight@yahoo.com.
Yep. All right, guys. I'm really excited. So, we will keep in touch. We will keep updates. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like this
We'll
is
update you.
gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
this is gonna take a while.
I'm hoping that we can start downloading letters next week.
Okay. Yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. And then have a PDF to download, and then you guys can print it, sign it, maybe include a cover sheet or maybe your own story behind it, and put it in the same envelope and send it together.
Yep. That's the idea.
Jesse says he bets $20 it will work.
I'm not taking that bet. Jesse, you can try another way to try to get the $20 back, but I'm not taking that bet because I already know this is going to work. I've already spoke this to the universe. This is going to happen.
Yep, good one, man. I love you guys. All right, so now we need to get to the nitty gritty of what happened this week because I have been in shock. And remember when you used to say that I was kind of like a green hat? And I was, I was open, questioning, curious, and then really receptive to it. I kind of felt like an orange hat this week because once we got the documents of the MLK Jr. stuff from 1968, I believe.
Right.
I felt like, yes, this is not a conspiracy theory anymore. We have proof. It's written. And I felt like a real orange hat. And I don't know, is it okay to be an orange hat? I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be times that I'm going to have a moment to where something comes out and I'm going to be like, aha, there it is right there. It's all I needed. Right. Okay. Yep. So, I mean, there's going to be a few things that come out, but I don't think it's a problem being, partly orange hat because you want verification of the stuff you're learning.
Yes.
So if that means it's got to come from, if that means it has to come from some government documents or come out of the mouth of somebody on the news, so be it, as long as the truth gets out there. So.
Okay, and if Tony's watching, hit the link, Tony. I need to know how you felt about that because I read it to her. I sent it to her like I was in disbelief. I was like, we should abolish MLK Jr. Day. This is not a man that we should be revering or having a federal holiday for. Like I really went full blown. Like we should get rid of this because of what we read in those papers. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I have the link on X and I've shared it. So if anybody wants to see it for themselves, if you have an X account, follow us. We can share it. I'll try to pull it up as well because page 19 out of those documents was insane in my opinion. But then I started reading some comments and some like different opinions of other people. And it got me really thinking, right? So this was one of the opinions. Why should we believe the organization that killed him to tell the truth about what he was doing while he was still around, which is the FBI, because we don't trust the FBI, right? I mean, I think we could agree that we don't trust the FBI, right?
All right. So now,
why would we trust? Yeah, exactly. So why would we trust the FBI when they talk about MLK Jr.? And that's what really got me, because at first I was like, yes. And then I was like, okay, hold on. This is coming from the FBI, the same organization who assassinated him. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt. Maybe I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, are they trying to manipulate me to make him look bad, or is this really the truth? And this is what he was doing, and he was a commie and a homosexual. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes your mind go.
Well, from
all
what
over the place.
I understand is the actual documents are not. Trump signed an executive order for them to come up with a 45-day plan to release the information, declassify the information on MLK and RFK. So 45 days. They're supposed to come up with a plan in 45 days. So for this information to come out the way it did, is it a possibility that they're trying to get ahead of the story and get ahead of whatever's dropping? So one thing that I try to remind everybody is when something pops off or something's said, give it 48 to 72 hour rule before you react to it, because you don't know if it's propaganda yet or not. So, you know, because just because Trump won doesn't mean that the war is over. We are still in an information war, and there are still deep state minions out there that are going to do whatever they can to muddy up the waters and muddy up the true information. It's going to happen. We already know that. So we just got to be we got to use our discernment when when this information comes out.
Okay. Yep. Jennifer M in the chat says distraction, possibly.
Yeah.
Joseph in the chat says Rapid Response 47 is a new Trump X account to counteract fake news. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to look him up. Thank you, Joseph. John Marciano says, what about the JFK files and the Israeli connection? I think this is something that I knew before. And like, that was one of the reasons why JFK was taken out, was because he wanted to register them as a foreign lobbyist or something like that, like the organization. It was something to the effect of that. But
remember, I've been telling everybody for a long time now that the Israeli government is deep state.
Yes, I agree.
Kennedy knew that. JFK knew that.
Yeah.
He was around when they were being created by the CIA, when the government of Israel was being created by the CIA. He knew all that stuff. So yeah, there definitely is a connection there. He knows about it.
Did you see any files that have dropped already with the JFK stuff?
No, the files have not dropped yet. The ones that you may be seeing out there are ones that trickled out, in previous years. Because I think there were some that were released. I think, don't hold me to it, but I think it was 2019. Some files were declassed, but not all of it. And like, Trump said, was it a 10-day or 15-day plan to release the JFK files? But
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it was either 10 or 15 days. So anybody out there saying, "Oh, the JFK files have dropped," no, that's old stuff. The new stuff hasn't dropped yet.
Okay. So whenever that happens, please let me know.
Oh, I will.
Yes, please, because I have been so fascinated with the Kennedys and like my whole grandma's era. Like that was the time when she was young and had young children. The 60s was an amazing decade, in my opinion. I wish I was born back then. You know what I mean? Like I love it. So I'm highly interested.
See if you can do a quick search on X for Glenn Beck interviews Kash Patel about JFK files. Because what Kash says in that interview is very important.
Okay, and you said Glenn
Beck interviews Kash Patel about JFK files. Or asks about JFK files.
JFK files. Okay, let's see what pops up.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Kash Patel is supposed to be in front of the Senate confirmation hearings to be the head of the FBI.
Okay, let me share this tab with you, and maybe this you might recognize it. Is it this interview?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's the one.
Okay,
We'll
this
play
is
it.
a.
How long is it?
It is 23 seconds.
I think that might be it then.
I never
We'll see.
believed the CIA killed Kennedy.
No. You're talking to a guy that's read the entire JFK file.
You've
Yeah.
seen all the stuff?
I've seen all of that, and I've seen the 7 pages of the 9/11 report. I've seen it all.
You don't say that to people that you can't tell what you saw. I never believed that.
All right, so it goes into more detail, but Kash Patel has seen that information, and he said when it comes out, it will answer a lot of the questions that people have had over the decades.
Okay, I just found the entire interview. It's an hour long, so if anybody wants that, I'll share it on X. So once again, if you have X, please follow us and join the Big Picture group chat that Jimmy also steers on X, and we share a lot of information together that we bring on here.
We drop a lot of information on X. Now that I'm back on Facebook, I'm still a little gun shy with posting on Facebook.
Yep.
So all my juicy stuff is going on X right now.
Okay. And this guy, Kash Patel, I've seen him before and his name before. Is he a part of the administration? Did he get a job already?
Not yet. The hearings, I think, are later for this week.
And what is his position?
FBI director.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this is why the Democrats and some Republican senators are slow walking this confirmation, because the two people that scare them the most is Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. And those are the two that scare them the most.
Okay, wow. I really do feel like 2025 is going to be an amazing year.
Oh, it's going to be a freaking awesome year. It's going to be amazing.
That's amazing.
You're going to learn stuff this year that you just like, what the? Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I'm telling you.
And I wish my grandma was alive, because that was her president. You know what I mean? Like, they killed her president. And I wish she was alive so that we can talk about this, because that generation is almost gone.
Yeah.
Those people are almost gone. And it's kind of sad that they never got to see how the fake news, even back then, manipulated them and, killed their president. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never accept that, and I've told you this before. I'm like, yo, if they kill Trump, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I probably would never talk about politics ever again. The show would be over. Like, I would be depressed. You know what I'm saying? So, it's really heavy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know how people dealt with that, man.
Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be tough.
And if anybody who is watching of that generation, because I do know that Jimmy and I have an older generation as an audience. If you are from that generation, please let me know how you felt about that. I'm so interested.
Speaking of that, let's share this with the audience. So I went onto my YouTube channel, and I went over into the analytics side of things, and I looked at audience, and I looked at the age bracket of where most of my audience is. And it was like 40 and above was my audience. I was like, I had no young people watching my YouTube videos. So then Ruby, she goes on hers, finds hers, and it's very similar to my. She had a little bit of a younger audience on one of the age groups, but like in the 20s to 30s, we had nothing.
Almost nothing. But that's just YouTube, okay? So ever since I started doing it on X, we might get a younger audience. I just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about X, but on YouTube, we have Generation X and some boomers, some
lot of
millennials. So yeah, a lot of boomers are on our YouTube channel.
Yes. Welcome to the stage, Spyro Agnew. How's it going?
Real good.
Where's my $20?
I'm gonna use it in the campaign.
Okay, all right. I'll need
That's a lot.
receipts. I'll need receipts.
Okay. That's a lot of stamps. That's at least 4 stamps. How much are stamps now?
60-some cent, I think. I don't know. I just go in and ask for a book, and whatever it is, I pay it. So
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is individually anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
Too much.
Today I'm Spyro Agnew because I'm Richard Nixon's vice president. Last time I was Richard Milhouse, so today I'm going to be Spyro Agnew.
All right, Spyro.
He got his butt fired, huh? I remember when we were kids. Hey, you know what? 25 you said is a great year. I remember 1975 so much. Me and Gilbert got a bunch of pictures. We were little kids in 1975, and my mom, she used to tell us that the end of the world was going to come. You know, that's what she was learning as Jehovah's Witness. And but I loved baseball, and it was a golden year. 75 was golden. And I used to think in my head, wow, the Jehovah's Witnesses are full of shit. Because how could God bring the end of the world when the Cincinnati Reds are going to win the World Series, you know? And it was just so great. Everything, baseball, football. And then the next year was going to be the 200th birthday of the United States of America, the bicentennial.
Mhm.
And we were going to get this new coin, the bicentennial quarter. Every kid wanted the bicentennial quarter.
Mhm.
And everywhere on the commercials on Saturday morning in school, we used to have stickers that says, hey, Ruby, what comes after 75?
76.
That's the spirit of 76. It was contagious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was the 200th birthday of the United States was contagious. We had the Freedom Train came through Yuma, through the 310 of Yuma down the street. And they had the Liberty Train, the Freedom Train came through Yuma. And it was America in all its glory when you were a kid. And I don't know if we're going to repeat that in our 250th birthday.
We are. It's going to happen. 2026 is going to be a year of celebration. You can go ahead and mark that down that I said that.
Okay.
I put $20 on it? Let's go 20.
Yep.
Do I have to wait a freaking year and a half? You need to come up with something a little bit more short term there, buddy.
Hey, I'm Mexican American, and we carry a heavy external debt burden.
Okay. All right. I hear you.
Welcome to the stage, Dallas.
Hello.
Hello. Who is it?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
We got 2 Arizona natives here at least.
Nice. What's on your mind?
I'm 71 and I remember JFK and all that. I remember Eisenhower.
Oh, wow. How did you feel?
I'm not Dallas from North Carolina. I'm in Kansas.
Okay.
What's your question about what happened back then?
I really want to know how the society felt about their president being assassinated. Like, how did you feel? What were the emotions? What were they saying on TV? Did you feel like it was real, or did you feel like, no, there's got to be something else to this? Like the way we think now, like fake news type stuff. Like, I think something else happened. How did you guys feel during that time?
It was like nothing happened at all. If you're a witness.
Well, yeah.
Hey, can I tell you
that's a
something?
good
A
point.
story about when
Yeah.
JFK died that affected me. It affected my whole life because my dad wasn't a witness, even though he studied with the witnesses. But my dad was an American patriot, and he was a naturalized citizen born just in Mexico. And we're about 2 miles down the road from Mexico, Baja California, 20 miles from Sonora. My dad's from the Sonora side. And so when he was a kid, he was an immigrant. So he what you call a green carder. He was a green carder before he became a citizen. So he would travel to Mexico at night and come to work here at the Buick dealer in Yuma. And the night they shot Kennedy, the day they shot Kennedy, my dad remembered it to the day he died. To the day he died. So he went home that night. The border was closed both ways, going in, going out. So he came to Yuma and he slept on 4th Avenue, a main drag, across from this cafe. And I took my dad to the cafe when he had Alzheimer's. I took him to the day he died, to that cafe. And but the people who lived through it, were traumatized. My dad was. My dad used to drink a lot of beer. He used to go to the secret society clubs and stuff. He used to tell me that that's the day America died. He really believed that. In a sense, he felt America had died.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I can comment on, Ruby, about the whole news situation, the news anchors that we had back then, they actually told way more truth than what we have today. So I think for the initial viewers, and y'all can speak to this if I'm wrong, I think for the initial viewers of that time, there wasn't much, oh, this is propaganda or this is conspiracy. The conspiracy stuff came later. But I think the initial reaction was how we probably felt when 9/11 hit.
Right. Yep.
Yep. Good illustration.
Yeah, good point. I wanted to show you this. Well, I did show Jimmy this already, but I wanted to show you guys this. And also to circle back with Jimmy if he ever found out if this is true. I think you guys can see my screen.
Oh.
That Joe Biden joined the Freemasons on January 19th, 2025. I don't know if this is true. But I saw it on X, and the very first person I said, Jimmy, what's going on here? I'm freaking out. I have never seen a former president do this.
All right, so I've been working on Operation Spotlight, so I haven't had a chance to vet this to see if it was true. But my initial gut feeling is this. One, we all know I don't think that's the real Joe Biden anyway. So there's that. And then two, I do believe that Joe Biden, in a sense, he's probably been involved in other secret societies and organizations as well throughout his career. I don't doubt that one bit. There's a part of me that thinks that photo and that whole situation was kind of maybe a drip of some information to like, hey, folks, y'all need to look into who these Freemasons are.
Okay.
So there's that angle to it because there's a lot of people out there that don't know anything about that group of folks. And so maybe by this getting put out the way it did, maybe it will cause people to go and do some research on it.
And you know, the political,
and I think
the political climate with Joe Biden right now can be seen with James Carville, and the political establishment of the Democrat Party. They want him to shut the hell up. I think that's what he said, quote unquote, go away. So the rank and file Democrats, I even think Barack Obama, of all people, is distancing himself from Joe Biden. I mean, he's persona non grata. So this thing coming out, I don't think it's true. The Democrats are just flat out tired of him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's a huge thing, but it could be something that could cause somebody to go down some rabbit holes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna let go of that one because I almost got hung up on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel weird about the Freemasons and secret societies and all that kind of stuff. So it gives me a red flag that I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me feel weird.
Ruby, that shouldn't pique your interest. What should pique your interest is how that guy is a rabid Catholic, Roman Catholic. How did he
I was
get
just
away
about to
with
say that. And no, technically, no, you can't. You cannot be a Freemason if you are Catholic. So if you do convert like that, that's considered apostasy. So then he's not a real Catholic. And I've heard this before. People saying, "Oh, he's not a real Catholic." So I mean, I don't know. I don't want to
He
get.
received communion. He receives communion. I mean, this is one of the biggest Catholics in the United States of America. In the
I
secular.
know,
Mhm.
and
Hold
I
on.
would disagree with that.
I'm laughing at Thrifty's comment. How could Biden complete the initiation? He'd fall
He's
asleep.
going to sleep. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
chuckling about that too.
Yeah. I
Oh.
agree. That was a
And
great comment.
one other comment, Bev asked me about the Operation Spotlight, if we we're going to say anything about voting issues. Yeah, we're putting that in there too. Just to let you know.
Yeah, that's a given. Okay, so Jimmy, you did send me a list of talking points that you want to go down, and we already did the first two. Was about the MLK Jr., the Kennedys. The next point was about a federal district court judge temporarily blocking Trump's birthright citizenship order, and we did talk about this in the last stream, that he might
Yeah.
have some speed bumps in the road because they're
Yeah.
going to challenge this. Now,
Oh,
my
yeah.
question to you is, doesn't federal... Okay, I think I just answered my own question. I was just
It
about to
happens.
ask you
It
that,
happens.
like, shouldn't federal things trump state issues? But this was a federal
Absolutely.
judge, so it's kind of weird. So if a
Yeah.
federal judge does this, then what does that do? Does it really stall it because it's a federal judge?
Well, it'll get appealed. His injunction will get appealed. It'll go to a higher court. Like I said, any challenges that Trump faces with these executive orders, if they're not taken care of, settled pretty quickly, they will go to the Supreme Court. And I think that's what Trump wants to happen anyway. Because if it goes to the Supreme Court, then you put it basically in stone. So that way, a future administration, a future deep state player can't come in and reverse it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Point. Yeah. You know what? When talking about secret societies, when I was an elder, something interesting used to happen. We would have an elder meeting, and let's say we were debating, and then we put something up to a vote. And let's say there's the English congregation and the Spanish congregation, and we're trying to build a kingdom hall, and we're fighting. Because when the elders get together, there's a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
Not the Spanish. The Spanish are wussies. They don't even speak. But the English are hardball. They're money. Anyways, so you would get a very old elder. Let's say he's pro-building and everybody's against it. He would vote against it, and everybody would feel he would shift sides, because then it would go into debate. It would go into debate. And I think that's what Donald Trump is trying to do here. It's the art of the deal. He wants to take it to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
He's itching for a Supreme Court fight. And I think the whole country kind of wants it to go to the Supreme Court. I think that's the way I feel, because it should be argued. The merits of both sides should be fought at the highest possible court of the land.
And this has already been done because, remember his whole taxes. They wanted his taxes, and Trump doesn't want to give up his taxes and blah, 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 blah. Well, that thing went to the Supreme Court. And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court allowed Congress to look at his taxes. And then the story just disappeared, didn't it? Because they didn't find anything. But it set a precedent for later on. So now the Trump administration can ask for Joe Biden's tax records, Nancy Pelosi's tax records, Barack Obama's, Hillary Clinton.
And they would have to give it up.
And they have to give it up because it's already been said by the Supreme Court that Congress can look at the taxes.
Exactly. And I think that's Trump's play every single time. He plays
Call that a checkmate move on that one.
Agreed. Okay, Jimmy, the next thing on the list was, and I don't know anything about this, Trump orders administration to evaluate potential for national digital asset stockpile. I don't know what that is, so I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just going to say with the digital crypto stuff, that is an area that I have no expertise on. I wish I did, because it confused. My gut feeling says that anything digital is bad when it comes to currencies and these Bitcoins. And I looked into XRP, but I wanted to buy some, but my gut tells me not to. But I don't know much about the digital stuff.
You need to bring in Mr. Silver. Bring in Gigi.
Yeah, well, there's
Well,
there's another guy. Oh God, I can't remember his name, but he's a frequent guest on the And We Know channel, and SG Anons talked to him quite a bit. So maybe I can reach out and see if I can make a connection with this guy and see if he'll come on our show to explain some stuff, because I
nice.
think a lot of us have no clue about digital currency and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Senate
can't help you there.
confirms. All right. The next thing was the Senate confirms John Ratcliffe to be Trump's CIA director.
That's a good thing.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of talking points here, y'all.
Okay. I will read them, and whichever one you want to go more into, just let me know. The next one says DHS authorizes federal law enforcement to implement Trump's immigration policies. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because right now the media is trying to paint a picture to where ICE is going to be going into schools and all that. Come to find out that the situation with ICE going into a school here recently, or the Secret Service going, it was actually the Secret Service. The principal made up and scared everybody in the school that it was ICE coming in, when actually Secret Service was called because there was a kid with a threat or something like that. And so this principal took it upon himself to try to scare everybody, saying it was ICE, and he's already been debunked and the media fell for it. So that's a story that happened, I think maybe on Friday or something. So if you see that, if you see Trump's going into schools, that's propaganda.
Okay. And before I share the clips of the immigration stuff that I've seen on X, I want to remind everybody of what Obama said here in this clip.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up.
Okay, right? So we already know that this was something that Obama said, and you already heard him. He said both sides have done this. Republicans and Democrats have done this. I don't know why it's such an issue to people on the internet now that Trump is doing it.
Because it's Trump doing it. That's all it is.
Right.
And it was really good what Caroline Levitt said, the new press secretary, I think Levitt or whatever, the press secretary said, do you know she's only 27 years old?
What?
The press secretary. She's only 27.
And I'm 28. That's crazy.
And she owned that press conference today.
I have a clip. I'm going to get to
She's a scrapper.
Yes. There was a part in there, I think somebody asked her about illegal aliens or what, about how many. She said something to the effect, they're all criminals because they crossed the border illegally.
Yep, I'm going to play that clip. And I think this is amazing. Millennials are stepping up to the plate and getting jobs like this. So here goes another clip that I wanted to share with you guys. When they cornered this guy. What's his name again? I forgot his name. Oh, Tom Homan.
Y'all better get to know his name.
Right? All right, watch this.
You treating migrants humanely. But there's been reports of them on planes with no water,
That was a bunch of
complaining.
Crap. That was a bunch of crap.
What do you mean a bunch of crap?
ICE detention facilities have the highest detention standards in the industry. Any of the ICE standards, our detention standards are higher than any state or federal or local facility in the nation, in the world. Someone should go to the ICE website, look at PBNDS 11, performance-based detention standards, and look at our detention standards, highest in industry.
But are you sure you're only getting illegal criminal migrants? I mean, there were some pictures over the weekend of people that claim to be students, Brazilian students, who were showing examples of bruises on their arms from American deportation flights.
That's ridiculous. But if they want to make a complaint, we investigate it.
But your assurance is what?
The men and women of ICE are professionals. We do this for a living. And I can tell you, I ran ICE for years. I was the first director of ICE came up through the ranks. Again, these men and women are professional, highest attention standards in the industry. We take care of these people. But we're going to enforce the law, and we're not going to apologize for doing it.
And you're going to do it in a sort of public way with, do you need to use the big military planes? Is that part of a sort of shock and awe tactic?
Yes.
They haven't been used before, have they, for migrants?
No, they have been.
Trump, we're going to use all the government to secure our border, which is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. And we're going to enforce laws in this country. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's a crime. And when you cause a crisis as big as the Biden administration caused, when you overwhelm the border patrol, but they can't do their national security job, that's when the fentanyl come across, kill 250,000 Americans. That's when you have a 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when you have a record number of no-inspected terrorists coming across an open border. President Trump's going to secure the border as promised to the American people. We're going to enforce immigration laws. That's what we're going to do without apology. We're on board. We're going to go forward. You're going to see it get a hell of a lot bigger in the near future.
I love that guy.
I am loving that guy. I don't know who he is or who he was, but
yeah, Tom Holmes is awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Now that I'm awake to politics, I'm like, whoa, yeah, this is what we've been suffering from. Like, we didn't have a guy like this. Like, I've never heard somebody speak like this on the
one thing that I'll say about this. Okay, so we've seen what, I don't know what the number is right now, but we've seen a lot of illegal aliens, and guess what? It's okay to call them illegal aliens because that's what they are. They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens. So just get that out of your vernacular. Illegal aliens, that's what they are. So be it. So we have seen them already being rounded up. We see them being deported. Here's the thing. How is it that the Trump administration has been able to identify these people and go get them as quick as he has?
Right. Because I think they've known that they were there all along.
The Biden administration knew that they were there. They knew who these people were, and they did nothing for the American people.
Correct.
So Biden could have, and for them, for Mayorkas to come out and Kamala come out and say, "Oh, the border is closed." No, bull crap. That was a complete lie. So, and they could have, they didn't need to go through Congress. Like they said, we need to get a bill through Congress. And remember the border bill that they made such a big stink about, that the Republicans weren't getting on board with the border bill. Why? Because it had too much freaking pork in it. It had other things in it that the deep state wanted. So that's why Mike Johnson shut it down. And
Jimmy,
one last point, hold on. And then this proves that Trump didn't need Congress. Biden could have done it, but he hadn't. He didn't. So this just proves that Trump was right the whole time about all this. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, I just want to tell you a story about what happened this week, Saturday or Friday. Friday or Saturday. I went to Mexico, just right down the street, and my grandson turned 1 year old, so we bought a piñata, and it was a cowboy theme, and we bought him a horse piñata. So we crossed, and I can't prove nothing. This doesn't prove anything, but just from what I saw, I was never treated so good at this border. Me and Gilbert, when we were kids, I've even been strip searched at that border. We took a car when we were 16 to get painted, and they scratched my car. So, but I have never been treated so nice on both sides by the Mexican federales and the American Border Patrol as I was Saturday. So I sat down the piñata, and I was thinking in your head, you know, are they going to inspect it? Are they going to look inside? And the lady goes, "What did you bring, sir?" And I go, "Oh, just the piñata." "Okay, thank you, sir." And I was going to tell her, you guys haven't called me sir since about 1972. And, but they were treating everybody real nice, both sides. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is correct. I mean, Trump is promises made, promises kept right now, especially with the border situation. Did y'all hear about the Colombian president?
Yes, I did. They caved in.
He folded so quick, it's hilarious. Does the folks in the chat already know?
3
about
hours.
it? It was less than that, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah. Okay.
It was like an hour or something.
Yep, a few hours. I think within the same day almost.
Yeah, it was like 1 or 2 hours because I saw the report come in that the Colombian president declined to have those flights land in Colombia, and then literally like an hour later or something, I seen where he backpedaled.
Yeah, because Trump made the 25% tariff threat, and I think he went along with it, and now they want to backpedal. And I don't think Trump should back down. You know, like, and that's why I like about Trump is that once he says something, he's gonna do it.
Now, did you hear about the Valentine's Day flowers? Our Valentine's Day flowers. It was a good report. I don't know who did the report. Did you hear that? The majority come from Colombia. So we do big business with Colombia. He would have destroyed the poor workers over there.
Well, and the other thing is too is we give Colombia over $450 million a year in foreign aid. We give them $450. We do give them $450 million in foreign aid, taxpayer dollars going to Colombia. And you can't accept your own citizens back. Oh yeah. So we're going to slap a 25% tariff for the first week, and then we're going to up it to 50%. And then we're going to put sanctions on government officials and their families and travel restrictions and stuff. And the thing is Trump is leaving some of his demands in that regard in place as Gustavo, whatever his name is, as he shows action. So if he follows through with allowing the illegals to be back in that country, then Trump will back off of some of the things he already put on them. It's just, Trump didn't just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. The guy folds and Trump says, okay, I'm not going to do it no more. No, he's leaving some things in place to force this guy to follow through with his word. That's called peace through strength. That's called leadership. And it's also called fuck around and find out.
Yes. Welcome, Gigi.
Hey, Adrian. Hey, just real quick, Ruby. Last time we talked, I told you that words mean things. So Donald Trump is president and he's a governor. He presides and he governs. And I know you echoed that. So that's what's happening when it comes to the birthright citizenship. The government is not making Congress is derelict of duty. The Supreme Court is derelict of duty. Donald Trump says, okay, then I'm going to do my job as chief executive. And now this judge says, no. And then he says, okay, let's put on the boxing gloves and let's have this fight. That's what real men do. That's what real presidents do. That's what real governors do. Well, then what are the rules? Well, the Congress is okay. Well, then let the Congress do it. Oh, well, okay. So he's making everybody do their job. So that's the answer to that. Now, the thing about the crypto, did you see that thing about the crypto, what Donald Trump said?
Yeah.
Let me help you understand. It's real simple. Let me help you understand.
Oh, we lost Alex.
I'm going to help you understand right here. El Salvador says it's maturing $800 million bond. This is how the World Bank puts all of these Latin countries and African countries into slavery. The reason you're poor and you live in another country is because the banks in Holland, the banks in Germany, the banks in London, they put you in debt and then you're an indentured servant. So El Salvador had Bukele, and check it out. Bukele he made Bitcoin legal tender, and then he paid off $800 million. And so the point is this, it's real simple. Donald Trump knows that United States used to be the number one gold holder in the world. Now China may be the number one. West Point would carry silver. We used to be the number one silver holder in the world. I don't know. But what is Donald Trump saying right now? Who has the most oil in the world? We do. Anwar and so forth. So when it comes to oil, gold and silver, Donald Trump wants to be what? Number 5th place? 3rd place? He wants to be 1st place. So what does Donald Trump want to, when it comes to crypto, where is the United States government? I'll tell you where. They're in last place, and Nayib Bukele is kicking the United States ass. Donald Trump loves Nayib Bukele. He's learned. And so Donald Trump is saying, if there's going to be crypto, I want to be top dog. I want to have the most aluminum. I want to have the most copper. I want to have the most corn. I want to have the most everything.
Yeah.
And that's what he's talking about with that statement that he said. We are going to be the biggest, the baddest, and the best on everything. And we're not going to let other countries make money on crypto and us sit back because we got stupid representatives in the background. So that's that's what's happening right there. Hey, the big news of the day, it's bigger than everything, because everything that you're talking about right now, it's all administrative. It can be taken care of.
Yeah, we got more stuff on there too, though.
But here's the thing: did you see that comment that I put down? And it says China's DeepSeek. Now you're going to have to remember this word, because you're going to be hearing about it, because this is changing your world. You ever watch a movie, and then in the movie they have a reporter and he's reporting something, and basically kind of letting you know that moment in time was what really changed the world. Well, the word DeepSeek has totally changed the world as we know it. Let me explain to you real quick. That model outperforms leading tech giant solutions running desktops at a 3% cost, causing NVIDIA stock to drop 17% in a day. Now, let me just help you. I'm just
How much percent?
17%.
17, huh? Really? You don't say.
Now, NVIDIA is one of the biggest.
Go ahead.
It's like a biggest. It's the pillar. Like it's like a huge, massive pillar in a building of the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
So the NASDAQ, the whole thing would just be nothing if it weren't for this company and a couple of 7 other companies.
Correct. It's tech driven.
Yeah. So here's the point. It says 3%. What that means, audience, is if that chip that everyone's talking about that they're building, that quantum computing that NVIDIA is making, good chip. But let's say that chip would cost $10,000 to put on a computer. And we're talking right now on our computer. My computer costs $10,000. What China just did was give you a free software program that you can put on a used $300 computer, $10,000 US dollars to make this chip. But China says, no, go to the pawn shop, get a used computer. You can use our software that's open source for free, and you can have the same amount of computing power,
if not more,
in ready your hand.
Yeah.
You know what that's crazy. And I'm going to go right back to that and why that's so important. But the last thing I was going to mention, and it had to do with this we're living in a different world. Did you see the next post that I put down? So Bill Gates wants to buy 3 Mile Island and make a nuclear power plant because he needs all of this electricity for his all of these 5-story buildings that are just massive computers. But the Chinese are saying, guess what? You don't need a 5-story computer, and you don't need a nuclear power plant. All you need is a solar panel, charge your phone, and we'll give you just as much computing power on your phone than these massive buildings. Donald Trump talked about it. They asked him on Monday or Sunday, and he said he knows this puts the United States government at a disadvantage because China gave this to you for free in open source software. So if they gave this to you for free, imagine what they have in the back end. But here's the thing. What it also goes to prove is that Google, Facebook, Twitter, everybody, all of the big companies, they're all fighting for patent rights. They all want to have the patent. So everyone's always fighting in court in the United States of America. Meanwhile, the Chinese are kicking your ass. And also, what it goes to prove is all of your children have black fingernails, green hair, and they're tatted in their neck and all this other stuff. But in China, they're making the kids learn algebra.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're using that algebra in their programming. So you see, So you see how the world is changing.
Oh
And, the
yeah.
United- and Donald Trump knows the world is changing. We need this is a wake up call, and so you're going to be hearing about that word. Sorry, Jimmy, but we're going to be hearing about that word,
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, and basically that's kind of it in a nutshell. But I'll let you say something, and I'll just mention it with the last.
Yeah, to kind of compare this with another historical moment, go back to Sputnik. This is what we would call a Sputnik moment. And basically, okay, believe what you want about landing in the moon and the space stuff, but let's just go with the narrative, okay? So there was a race to get to the moon, and then, of course, the Russians came out with Sputnik, which caused them to be ahead of the United States. And so we know what happened from there. The United States got serious and supposedly, allegedly, won the space race. All right. So that's what this is. China's gotten ahead of the curve on this. And that's why Trump said that they want to build the AI technology here in America. And again, want to be first in that. So,
correct. But the difference is this. The difference is this, is that if you look at the timeline, that happened about 4 or 5 days ago. And he was talking about, check this out. He was talking about spending $500 billion, 500 billion.
Right.
All of these other people were talking about sending billions of dollars. Today, a Microsoft retired engineer said, what we saw yesterday with his DeepSeek, check this out. It's equivalent to you going to your garage and getting an old Chevy, beating it up, fixing it up, and coming out with a brand new Ferrari. And you can do it over and over and over again at a fraction of the price. What will that do to Ferrari? This is so. It's not to be scary. It's not scary like this. It's gonna. The point is, it's a wake up call. And so this is where Elon Musk is also fighting. This is above our pay grade, but the point is that our world is changing completely. And I'm just going to show you real quick why this is so important. And I'm just going to share the screen, but it's no video. But if you go to this website called the Fractal Government, you see those little dots that you see, and this guy's showing, because we're having computing power, they're able to get with the government, and it says, give me all of the money that was spent on this program last year. And so they have dots, and guess what they do? The AI intelligence will now create a map of all of these dots and all of these monies, and they'll actually show you where the money laundering is at. But this is where it gets even scarier. And this is why the Democrats and Republicans like Lindsey Graham are scared, in my opinion, because AI technology, that technology is now in the hands of people like James O'Keefe. It's now in the hands of you. So let's say, for example, Lindsey Graham's lover, right? He has a spat, and he gives the passcode to his Bank of America Visa card. And you're able to get every transaction that he did on his Visa. AI will now give you a map. Like, why are you spending your money over here and this? So it creates like a detective. This thing is crazy powerful, but now it's in the hands of the people.
There's another thing that I want to remind folks about. We already know, in regards to this, we already know that the government and big corporations, they have technology that is 30, 40, 50 years ahead of what we actually have in our hands right now. So I do remember a Q post that talked about 6,000 patents hidden. So that means there's technology out there that's why the media is going to frame a lot of this AI stuff, which, I have my thoughts about it, but they're going to just be all scary, New World Order, Skynet, they're going to push. I do believe that there's some good that can come of this stuff if it's in the right hands.
Well, the good is this. The good is that what happened is this. Donald Trump, this is why I'm saying all of this news is really irrelevant. This is the big news. Not irrelevant, but this blows everything out of proportion, because Donald Trump now is saying, okay, We have this technology that that costs billions of dollars. Americans are spending billions of dollars building huge buildings, 5, 6-story buildings, massive data center computers, and China just put it in your
Yeah,
palm of your hand.
it would save
And
millions,
they did it-
save trillions of dollars.
free, and they did it free. So,
Yeah.
so the point, going back to the patent, is Donald Trump, along with Congress, is going to have to tell the American people, we need to change the way we look at patents, because the other countries, Russia and China, they have patents, but they also say we are not going to let you shelve patents while the Americans kick our ass. And that's what the Americans are doing. We have patented all these things because of lawyers and corporations, and now the Chinese and the Russians are kicking our ass.
Yeah, that's why I say that, there's going to be some stuff that's going to be released technologically wise that we should have had years ago, because it's existed for a long time. The government has it. So the people should have. So I do believe a lot of this, there's going to be a lot of things that are released that will seem scary in the beginning. Just watch how the media frames it. Whatever the media says about it, think the opposite.
Hey, at the founding of the American Republic, General Cornwallis, when General Washington defeated him, he said, the world has been turned upside down.
Yeah.
And he lost. The British Empire was reduced to their knees by peasants and pitchforks. And the same thing happened in, 1511, with the fall of the Spanish, when they fell to the British, the big brigade. So in the American and the Western, British American, we were always taught the smaller you are, you can outdo the Spanish Armada with those big boats, smaller. And the communists were always big government. And what Gilbert's saying here is they've changed. We're now the bureaucracy. We're the big beast, and we can't move. And these guys are moving on like on a dime.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm just going to end with this, Ruby. So the feds arrest 9 people in a massive $200 million smuggling operation linked to China. It was announced today. So the point is this: we go and we have these names, and I'm just going to give you an example of what AI, and this is how dangerous it is for the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans. You see where it has the names of these Chinese people: Wei Jingzhang, 57, from the Los Angeles area, from El Monte, from Irvine, from Hacienda Heights, from West Covina, from Apple Valley, from Jesse Rosales from Apple Valley. Okay, so this is the point. Gilbert, what does that mean? Okay, now with AI, you get somebody like James O'Keefe, and if you say Ruby Quinn, I'm looking for Ruby Quinn's phone number and her email address, and Google the search engine is going to say, well, there's a lot of Ruby Quinns, but this one is related to this person, this person, this person, this person, and you're like, yeah, it's that one. Okay, so here's the thing. So when you saw all of those names of 9 people, remember that picture I showed you about all the dots? So you get somebody like James O'Keefe, an investigative reporter, and they're using this AI. And now these 9 become 18, and 18 become 36, and become 72. And then they're all connect, and then you start seeing this connection. See? And then you start seeing a big picture. Where did their money go? Who are they? If they received $100,000, where did the money it's not in their bank? You start looking at their and what I'm saying is that before it would happen because the government had technology like this, but Joe Biden or Ronald Reagan or whoever could say, shut up, shut that down. Okay, I'm ordered to shut it down. Now you got literally 300 million Americans that have access and can learn how to do it and become FBI agents.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what we're in now. It's the power. It's kind of hard to comprehend and get your mind around this, but this is biblical proportion for the baddies. For the baddies.
Wow. Thank you, Gigi, for coming on and explaining that. And I'm going to have to watch it back just to try to understand what you said. I'm going to have to look, Google all the stuff you just said, because I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, the conversation on this is just starting. I was listening to the other source I listened to, and he was talking about it this morning. So I'll go back and listen to what he said on it. And
Mhm.
so he did a pretty good job, and it doesn't take too long to listen to him. So
Yeah. And just to move to the chat, Jesse commented if we can talk a little bit about what Jane was talking about in the chat. And I starred two different ones that I think you were making reference to. The first one, Jesse, Jane was talking about that she works at a veterans hospital and she got an email today saying that to resign and get paid for 6 months. She says, I am not doing that. He 47 will have to lay her off. I don't know anything about that. Does anybody know
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, just here late sometime this afternoon, I saw it real briefly to where it said Trump is offering these folks in the federal government a buyout. And
Oh, yes. Okay, I saw that.
so he's offering that to them. So it just hit this afternoon. I haven't heard any explanation on it yet or not, but yeah, it's out there.
I wanted to talk about what Jane Spitfire said above it. She goes, Beverly, the active JW are scared of 47. He will cause Armageddon. I'm active. JW's sister was screaming about it. And you know what? I believe what Jane Spitfire said, because my wife told me the same thing. Her mom was telling her what Jane Spitfire said is same thing my wife told me about her mom. Identical. They're scared shitless right now.
Yep.
And I just saw the video, and they did mention Steph woke up, Stephanie from that channel. She just put a video reading a post on Reddit that everybody, all the JWs are calling family members or PMOs that the organization is now unofficially active JWs are talking about everything that Trump is doing. The end is coming, and all of these changes are also scaring them into thinking that something is coming. Something must be coming because of all of these changes that Trump is doing.
Hey, when I was a kid in the 70s, when I was a little kid in the congregation, Jimmy, I don't know if did they do this, but I remember in the 70s, they used to tell us that there will come a day, they used to teach us, and it's in no JW doctrine. You can't find it in the book, but they used to tell us that in the end, we would quit the preaching work and we would go door to door to tell everybody it's too late. God's going to close the door on you.
Yeah. I was taught that.
Yeah. Ruby, did they teach that to you?
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Did they teach that to you? Me and Jimmy's witnessed it. That there was come a time in the end where we would go door to door and we would tell them it's too late. You can't come in. Jehovah's going to destroy you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I said it before with King Tony that when we were young, they would tell us that if there was an emergency, right, you take your emergency go bag and you go to your nearest Kingdom Hall and you barricade yourself inside and you don't let anybody in until only like a trusted person or something like that. And that's kind of what they used to tell us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so to make it there on time.
And did you hear about the fear tactic? Remember the UFOs a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Didn't the press secretary address that? Was that her opening statement, Jimmy, or one of them? Huh?
I heard about it. I don't know if it was her opening statement. I'm plugging my phone in. Hang on a second.
I think it was one of the first things she mentioned. How the
I heard about it, that she basically said that it was FAA approved. It was our government, and they were researching something.
Oh,
and
do you want me to play the clip?
Yeah, they were scaring people. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. I got something to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So we're going to move on to the drone situation. This just came out today, and I didn't watch it yet, but I saw it on the big picture on X group chat, and I'm going to play this clip for you guys now.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. And before
Wow.
So what does that tell you? Now let's look back and look at different influencers that were saying this is China, this is Iran, the media, the Biden administration. This could be China, this could be Russian, this could be alien. Anybody that said any of that shit, I would block them now and not listen to them.
Jimmy, there was a congressman too.
Yeah. So, and what did I tell you about these at the beginning? We could go back and look. And I said, nah, this isn't aliens. This isn't our enemy.
We agreed. We were all talking about that.
Yeah.
Didn't the congressman say that it was a mothership out in the ocean?
Yeah, there was a mothership and out in the ocean, and these drones were coming from the mothership. It was all fear tactics, propaganda. Right. And we knew it. We knew it from the beginning.
Yeah.
We called it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agreed on that. I think I said something to the effect of like, I think it's our own technology. I think it's us.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in aliens or like anything like that. I said like either it's demons or it's America. Those are the only options for me.
So the Biden administration again knew what it was and kept it from the American people. But it was okay to let the American people all freak out about drones for a week.
Why let that happen? Like, why not just say the truth of what it is even before it comes out? Like, give a warning.
Pretty
like,
easy. Hey, what's the best way to control people, Ruby?
Through fear.
There you go. That's it. It's as simple as that.
All right.
Well,
I guess so.
Do you remember in World War II there was these things called the Gremlins? And what did the Gremlins do? They were from the Kremlin. They used to sabotage. They used to put a wrench in the system. The Democrats had nothing after that election. Nothing. Remember the god of the Democrats said, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Well, they live on that fear, cult members like the Jehovah's Witnesses. Somehow they're empowered. I even think the evil spirits that they scare people. They get a high off of scaring humanity.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it. They were like, people were saying, oh, you know, they were very secretive. They're not transparent. And I agree with all of that. But why make everybody go crazy and not just say something? Like, you know, when they cut your water off to do work on plumbing or whatever, they put a note on your door saying, hey, on this day, we're going to work on the water or work on the electricity. So if you lose power, you don't have water, that's why. But if you wake up and you put the faucet and there's no light or water and you start freaking out, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not just give a notice?
Hey,
so that
Ruby, I got a question.
Out?
What if you and Tony, you guys are in the house, maybe rolling a little bit, you know, love. And there's this girl that you guys hate down the street and she's treating you guys bad and everything.
Yeah.
And you guys send her a nice little F-bomb.
Yeah.
Can you see Obama and Joe Biden in the White House and say, hey, they really screwed us over. We're going to give them a little F-bomb. That's how much they hate us. That they would do that.
Yeah, this is just another tactic to try to keep people scared, fearful, in that vibration. I told everybody in November, started up in December again, that the deep state was going to try to do something or try to put something out there to put the fear into people. And the first thing that they said was this is an enemy. And then it went into the aliens thing. And we all know that they've built up this whole alien invasion thing for so many years to freak people out.
I believe that. Yeah.
What did the Clinton people do when the Bush people were coming in 2000? Remember? With the screwdriver, they pried all the W's.
They took all the W's out, yeah.
Computer. And a bunch of other stuff to sabotage.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another point, and I think this is in reference to the LA fires. So I saw this, and I know Jimmy already saw it, that Trump made a comment about this, and it was really weird, and he made reference to something, and I'm going to play it to see if you guys can catch it.
Yeah.
Disaster like, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like it, frankly. They say the biggest in the history of California. I think, has anything bigger than that happened in the whole country ever? It looks like, I don't want to say what it looks like, but you know what I'm going to say. It looks like something hit it. and we won't talk about what hit it, but it is a bad, bad situation. Disaster like, I don't know if we've ever seen it.
I caught it.
Uh-huh.
Is it
And then-
SHTF? Is it SHTF? Shit, no.
Basically, when Trump, remember, I've always told everybody, listen to what Trump says, because he doesn't say things just to be saying it. But he said, I don't know, I don't really want to talk about it, but I'm going to say it. Looks like they've been hit. I'm not going to say by what yet. So that right there tells you that these wildfires, they were not climate change. That was a purposeful event done by the deep state, and Trump knows it.
Yeah, because did you notice a lot of the trees are standing, but the houses are gone?
It's called direct energy weapons. Look it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing happened in Maui. Same thing happened in Acapulco. And for the folks in New Mexico, you might want to have your radar up, because insurance companies, property insurance companies, are canceling policies as we speak in New Mexico right now. So, and why is that important? Because what did they do in California 3 months before this happened? They were canceling homeowners insurance policies. So is something getting ready to happen in New Mexico? Don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yep. You know what? I was looking. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Welcome, Gigi, to the stage again. Welcome
Go
back.
ahead. What were you going to say?
I was looking for this clip because what Trump did in that clip reminded me of what Kanye did in this clip. I don't know if you guys know this, but this was hilarious. And people were making memes and making fun of it because Kanye says this, right?
And what media it went to. We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor.
And that, okay, so that's the clip. It was supposed to be like a joke, and everybody made it a joke. He was like, I'm not going to say what hospital it was, or I'm not going to say what doctor it was, because I can't say that. And then he's like, they were Jewish. And that's what Trump did. He was like, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. I think something hit it. It's like, they end up saying it regardless. And I think that's hilarious. I love it. And that's why I love Trump, because you were always going to get a little hint. And I love that. Okay, go ahead, Gigi. If you had a point, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to as far as direct energy weapons, you're not going to find anything on YouTube. But like I go to Brighteon, which is Alex Jones, his best friend. He made his own YouTube channel. It's called Brighteon. But in there, you'll see individuals showing you trees, and they have linear fires like through laser weapons.
Yep,
you can see it. So they're out there. It's just you'll never see it on YouTube. But the last thing I was just going to say, the reason I got back about the fires is, how he was arguing with the mayor about that we need to go in there today.
Yeah.
But see, this is what people don't know. Donald Trump doesn't know. For example, Mel Gibson has a house, was it $45 million that burned down? Mm-hmm. See, why does Mel Gibson want to go back? He wants to go back because there's not a house there that doesn't have gold, silver, diamonds, cash in safes, and they did not burn down. So the mayor saying, no, we're going to have you back in a week, 2 weeks. And then Donald Trump talked about the demolition crews. You think those demolition crews are going to get those safes and just throw them into the dump? See, they don't want you there. They want to get rid of the safes. That $45 million mansion in Pacific Palisades has gold, silver, diamonds, and cash in those safes. And that's why the looters are going there. The looters are not going there to get your furniture or your TV. They burn down.
Right.
But gold and silver does not melt in a fire. And those safes have been UL listed, and they have been tested to survive those fires, and not the direct energy, though. So that's what people need to understand. The police, this is why they don't trust the police, because are they in on it? I'm not saying that they are, but are they in on it?
Yes, I believe so. And like Thrifty said, that's why Karen Bass wants to control the cleanup. She doesn't want the public to see what's really there. And then I saw this clip on X, and I'm gonna play it. Why are they doing this to residents?
And then after that, you're able to just go right in.
But why can't I just go now?
That's just my order. Sir,
How long is the Orange Pass thing?
I got to. I'm not sure if there's an expiration date or anything.
No, but there's a line.
I fully understand that, sir, but there's rules and protocols we got to follow.
So it's January 27th.
Yes, sir.
I haven't been able to get to my house
Yes, sir.
for 20 days.
I fully understand that.
And it's right down there. It's about 1 minute over there.
Yes, sir.
And here's my address.
Yeah, I fully understand that.
So you want me to go wait in line for 2 hours?
Sir,
That's what they're told. That's what we're told to advise, sir. You have to go down to where he's telling you, to zone 3, and then you get the pass. Once you get the pass, you're able to come up.
But there's like a mile wait to get into zone 3.
I understand, because there's all the people that are trying to get the passes. But
Right.
that's what in order for you to get by, past this checkpoint, you need to get that pass.
Right, but President Trump and Mayor Bass said that we could go.
Trust me, I understand. I'm just telling you what we were advised by our command
Okay.
posts. They're telling you the same thing. They were
Yeah,
advised by
I'm
their
not giving you
command
guys a hard
posts.
time.
No, I know.
And I appreciate your service.
Thank you, sir. And we greatly appreciate it. But that's unfortunately one of the things that you have to do.
Okay,
Is go
so-
get a pass.
So I'm back, and it's now January 27th at 9:50 in the morning, and I have to go wait in a multi-hour, probably 5-hour line to get a pass to go to my house.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your service.
I wish you the best, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. And another point that folks may not know about this right now is these folks they're going to be allowed back in, but guess what they have to do?
What?
Guess what they have to do?
What?
They have to show their ID.
And he just did too in that video. He's like, I'm a resident. Like, why can't I go home?
So, but do you
But not
do
to
you,
vote.
do you see the irony here? We're talking about California, where you don't have to have an ID to vote, but you have to have an ID to go to your residence.
Good point. Good point.
And you know what? Here's another thing. This is beautiful. It's biblical. Do you remember Jesus said the last shall be first? And he talked about the irony of the shifting of positions from the lowly to the high. California, any construction guy knows that California is the state, the land of the most regulations, the greatest. And Jesus said, those who live by the sword shall die by the sword.
Exactly.
California has so much regulations. It's probably illegal to fart there. I mean, and now they're talking about getting rid of codes and regulations. See how far they have fallen? They went to the land of the most codes. When an air conditioning manufacturer builds an air conditioner for low NOx fuels, Governor Newsom is going to knock it down, and then the industry is going to have to spend billions of dollars getting more energy efficient. This is the land of eternal regulations. Affects the whole country, and now they're talking about having no codes. Just like Jesus said, the last shall be first, an inversion. They were the land of heaven, and now they're going to be the land of hell.
And this is why Trump said for every new regulation put out, he wants 10 removed.
Good one. My opinion to that video would have been, F that guy. I'm going home, even if I have to go on foot. This is when you need to civilly disobey.
Correct.
You go
But
home.
they'll
You do
shoot
what you
you.
gotta do.
They'll shoot you, Ruby.
That's why
cop
you
has a
have to be
gun.
armed yourself. You gotta be armed yourself. And you have to walk up in there and say, I'm going home. I don't care what you say. I'm going
Ruby,
home.
You know what I didn't like about that? Do you know when he told the cop, I honor your service? He kind of
Yeah, I would
reminds
have
me
never
of
said that.
like a Jehovah's Witness when you're getting this fellowship and you tell the elders, oh, I respect you, elders.
Yeah, thank you.
They're going, yeah. Look,
No.
think about it. Barack Obama, did you know that they found the Constitution has a hole in it?
Really?
Well, Joe Biden and Barack Obama, well, anyways, that's another joke for another day. But but that's the truth. Does any cop have any courage? Look at Joe Biden, Eric Holder. They never obeyed the Constitution, defend the borders. How come police? Why can't a police say, you know what? I'm going to civilly disobey. I'm going to go arrest you, the mayor. I'm going to back up the citizens who own this property.
Exactly. Exactly. And that perspective has changed on me because I used to be back the blue. I used to be that, that sort of thank you for your service type of thing. And then I realized that they on a switch, they can flip on you and they will be your oppressors. They would be the ones gunning us down and taking our rights away because they are in positions of power. So I am no longer back the blue.
If your mayor is a communist, the police force is too.
There you go. And that's why I was like, thank God I live in Florida, because these sheriffs would go against the mayor if they had to, and they would threaten those positions of power and be like, no, we're going to enforce the law, like the state or the federal, like whatever it is, they would enforce that. But we didn't see that in 2020. What did my sheriff do? He started arresting pastors, and that's when I woke up again. Like I had another awakening that you can't just trust just because they say they're conservative or Republican or whatever, because they will turn around and they will do the very thing that the left is doing. So I don't trust nobody now.
I think one thing to remember is not to paint all police off, like with any profession or anything, not paint them all with a broad stroke, because you got to remember that the deep state has gone down and infiltrated every level. So all the way down to the county level. So they've infiltrated some police departments. And so what needs to be done is, like with Washington, that crap needs to be cleaned out.
Voted out.
Thank goodness there are sheriffs out there that are upholding the Constitution, going against their mayors, and doing what they're supposed to do. So there are a lot out there like that. So those are ones that I would say, all right, yeah, I'm back in the blue with these guys. But these guys over here, y'all need to be, somebody needs to check these guys out right over here.
But sometimes you got to stand up for the little guy. When I was an elder, this is a true story. This kid was smoking marijuana and the cops picked him up. He was a non-baptized publisher. So the elders got together. They assigned me to investigate. I talked to him and the kid would not speak. Later on, he came to work for me for about 10 years, and I trained him to be a tech, AC tech. But that's beside the point. That's different. He wouldn't talk. He wouldn't talk, and I know that he was very humbled and very scared. And so I just embraced him. We talked, and I did not make a judicial committee or on him. Later on, the elders brought me into a judicial committee. They brought me for flipping it, and I fought back. I even cussed at that elder meeting. And they told me to go home. And I told them the spirit is not here. Can I go home? They excused me. But sometimes as a man of authority, you have to stand up for the little guy. These cops, that cop, you know what I would have done? I would have turned my back and told him, here, go. And I would have risked my job. But I would rather take a bullet than to let a fellow citizen take a bullet. That's the way we were trained in the 200th birthday of America in the bicentennial. You'd rather die than your brother die. Jesus said you had no better love. So those cops, they're pigs as far as I'm concerned. Doing your job don't make it right. They should have just turned around.
Yep.
And I agree with Jesse and I agree with Jimmy, but I would still hold the opinion that they are not here to help us. And it's like they have to prove me wrong for me to actually trust a police officer. Because
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, because in my opinion, I should be able to hold my own weapon or, bear arms, protect myself, defend myself and my own children. I don't need a police force. I don't need like a city police force that is like a mafia within themselves.
Where's all that feedback coming from?
From Jesse.
Okay. All right.
We're next to a military base, Yuma Proving Ground, Barry Goldwater bombing range.
Okay, cool.
Okay, they're flying around.
This is where I have to kind of disagree with you guys because I'm going to use this phrase. Words talk, right? Words talk. You guys are saying words and you're talking. I'm saying numbers scream. You have 1,000 houses there, 1,000 houses. And each house has a minimum of $100,000 in stash, in diamonds, gold, silver, and cash. That's $100 million. There's a minimum of $100 million in liquid cash assets, gold, silver, diamonds, and cash. 100 million is a low conservative number. You don't think the cops know this?
Yes.
Oh, we know how corrupt California is, and we know how hard up they are for money right now. So yeah, it's a plausible.
No, I don't think, Gilbert, I don't think the cops know it. I really don't think they know the Constitution either. They would side with we the people.
Okay, well,
Agreed.
somebody knows it, Jesse. Somebody knows it.
Yeah, the
you
higher ups. The
stupid.
higher ups.
You have to be stupid to follow that order and not allow people back into their home. Because if
Exactly.
if 1,000 families are allowed back to their homes, then everybody's safe.
Exactly, which is why you go regardless of what they say. Like, I will never listen to a government authority of where I can or can't go. COVID taught me that. Those mandates taught me that. Everybody else followed through, and I felt like I was the only one who kept living life as normal. And that was
Well,
scary to live outside the matrix.
well, it's in the Constitution that we have the right to be mobile. So, or
Exactly. So
whatever the words are there. Now, I could understand if there was something harmful like a gas leak or something like that. Okay, but that's where your example comes into play, Ruby, where like if the water company is going to work on, they're going to send out a message. Or hell, I get notices on my phone if Spectrum is going to be working on our cable or whatever, they'll say, hey, there may be an outage. Okay, that's
exactly.
legit. Okay, I get that. So if they were to say, well, we have an extreme gas leak, we're worried about our citizens. Okay, I could see that. But
Mhm.
what they're saying, no. I'd be like, I think it was Jennifer in the comments that said, my ass would be going on foot. I'd be tempted to go on.
I would go on foot and I would go back home.
Hey, Jimmy,
Yeah.
and the irony, another irony is that they're an environmental state. Everybody knows that Gavin Newsom worships the environment. He has no semblance of being an American or a Christian. He is a true dyed in the blue Constitution. I mean, environmentalist.
Mhm.
But what I would venture to say, the irony of ironies, California always preaching environmentalists up our butts. Always.
Mhm.
Isn't it an irony that they just polluted the whole damn West Coast?
Yeah.
With all those tires burning and all those cars and all the environmental. I mean, they
Well,
put more carbon into the atmosphere than any of us could ever do in our lifetime.
Yep. Well, you got to remember. Everyone has to remember that California was the template for the deep state for here in America. So what they were trying to accomplish and get done in California is exactly what they wanted for the whole country. They wanted the
Right.
whole country to be like California.
Yes. And the
That's-
other side wanted Florida to be the example for the entire country. They were always comparing the two, especially with the governors.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
California was it was setting the standards in environmental policy.
yeah,
Yeah.
which every time I hear that now, the only thing I can think of is money laundering. When I
Exactly.
hear anything climate,
Yep.
sorry, I think money laundering.
Yep. I think fake too, like hoax, fake. I don't
Oh, it's
even want to hear
it's totally fake. I'll
Yep.
argue that. I'll argue that with anybody. Climate change is a hoax.
All right. Yep. So Jimmy's list. The next one is about the teen shooter kills a student and then himself at Antioch High School in Nashville. I saw that. I just think that that's a random, like,
Yeah,
unfortunate event. I'm not gonna go too much into that.
Yeah, there's I tell you what, go to the post that showed the Trump accomplishments that I sent you. Because
Okay,
that's
is that from Facebook?
no, that was on your DMs on X.
Okay, right here.
Mm,
Wednesday, January
no,
22nd.
that's Enoch. That's something else. That's
Okay.
a daily thing.
Is it this?
Well, that was a comment that you can read that one. That one's pretty good.
Okay, so this is a post on Facebook. Rosie Rosencrantz. She says Trump has only been president for 5 days, and he's already humiliated the World Economic Forum to their face.
Yeah, he did.
Released the JFK, RFK, and MLK assassination files. Fired woke DEI employees. Declared that there are only 2 genders. Designated the cartels as a terrorist organization, unlocked ICE to remove illegal immigrants, reallocated $2 billion from illegal immigrant funding to FEMA for Hurricane Helene survivors, restored TikTok, restored freedom of speech, revoked security clearances for swamp creatures, removed the United States from the WHO, got the hostages released from Hamas, pardoned the January 6 political prisoners and abortion clinic protesters, moved toward taking control of Greenland and the Panama Canal, removed America from the Paris Climate Accords, secured $1 trillion of Saudi Arabian support for the United States, and is on the verge of ending the Ukraine-Russia war by Ukraine-Russia war allowed by Biden. This should be a wake up this should wake a person up.
Yeah. It was an amazing week.
Yeah.
It was a historic week. And hey, what's the most we've gotten on the live chat tonight?
61.
61. Ah, dang. I was hoping to get over to 100 tonight. Anyway. But yeah, there was a lot that happened this week. And I guess if somebody in the chat wants to put up something, what they want us to elaborate on, that'd be cool. I could do that. Because there's a lot.
It really was.
It was climate change.
Oh.
It's like 60 degrees here right now. Freezing.
I
60 degrees.
And Gigi was reading my mind because he just posted this and I had this in the clip. President Donald Trump floated the idea of removing American citizens who are repeat violent offenders from the nation. And this is the clip.
Oh,
They're
exile.
dangerous people. They're violent people. I used to say these are more violent than our criminals. In fact, the best part about them is they make our criminals look quite nice, actually, by comparison. They are very violent people. We also have many violent criminals in our country, however, that did not necessarily come here illegally, but have been arrested 30 times, 35 times, 41, 42 times in a couple of cases, 25 times, 18 times, many for murder and other heinous charges such as pushing people into subways. As the train's coming along at 45 miles an hour, boom, you get pushed into the subway. They had it last week. Hitting them in the head with baseball bats while they're not looking, punching old ladies in the face, knocking them unconscious and stealing their purse. They even break into apartments and rape elderly women and beat up elderly men, beat them to hell. And I don't want these violent repeat offenders in our country any more than I want illegal aliens from other countries who misbehave. And I say, and this is subject to getting it approved, but if they've been arrested many, many times, they're repeat offenders by many numbers. I want them out of our country. I also will be seeking permission to do so. We're going to get approval, hopefully, to get them the hell out of our country along with others. Let them be brought to a foreign land and maintained by others for a very small fee as opposed to be maintained in our jails for massive amounts of money, including the private prison companies that charge us a fortune. Let them be brought out of our country and let them live there for a while. Let's see how they like it. You'll see crime all over the country dry up. Essentially, that's what Venezuela and other countries are doing. They're getting rid of their criminals and putting them into the United States of America.
Yep.
And their crime is down by almost 80%.
Yep.
We're going to restore law and order in America, and we want to bring back the death penalty for these horrible people that kill people. They kill people. It's always a tough thing to say because I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But if you don't do it, we're just looking for trouble.
Agreed.
How do you feel about that? Yeah.
I agree with everything he just said. Because you got to think about it too. Somebody's going to say, oh, that's just horrible that Trump would send somebody or exile him out of the country. Well, how the hell do you think Australia was founded?
Oh, yeah, that's so true. That is so true. It is a country of criminals, really.
They sent everybody to Australia.
Yeah. They
So
sent all their
again,
criminals over there.
this is nothing new. He just said that the other countries were sending all their baddies over to our country. And the Biden administration was allowing it.
Right.
So we can give them back. And we can pay them, and the money that these prison systems make, the private prison systems, it's a cash cow for them. See, personally, the reason I don't have a problem with this at all is because I get, my wife watches these shows, these crime shows and everything on TV at night. I don't know how she does it. Then she falls asleep. Okay. Maybe she's a little psycho and I should be worried about that. Especially when she was watching one episode called Buried in the Backyard. Okay. That kind of freaked me out.
Yep.
But anyway, I hear these things that these people have done. And then it says, oh, they get life in prison or they get 2 life sentences. And I'm like, you know what? Can't we save a lot of money by just reinstituting the death penalty? I'm sorry. You go out and kill 3, 4, 5 people. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Jimmy, you know what? You're right. The death penalty. But do you remember the Steve McQueen movie, Papillon?
No.
Okay.
No.
It was in the French. It was not in the French Guyana, but I can't remember. It was close to Africa. It's where the French exiled their prisoners. In Mexico, they have the Islas Marias. Didn't we have Alcatraz? So when you were exiled out into an island in the Pacific or in the, you were informed dead. You were like dead because you were persona non grata. You had been exiled from your nation. I think Trump is touching that a little bit.
Yep.
These people are so bad. He wants to get them out of society.
Yeah.
He's not talking about your common criminal that he's talking about somebody who is so mentally sick that he throws a human being in a subway. There's sick people.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of them in New York City.
So I'm all for what he just said. Not a problem.
Did you, and I'm not going to play the clip, but did you see the whole Selena Gomez?
Thank God for not sharing that clip.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to share a response to Selena, but I'm not going to show Selena crying because I was just like, please remember that Selena Gomez is an actress and that's what they do. They act. So can we please spare me? Like, that was really sad.
My question is where was her crying video for Laken Riley?
Exactly.
All the girls that have been killed by illegal aliens. Where was her crying videos for those? She's talking about, oh, my people, my people. Biatch, you made your living in America.
And she's American. Like, stop it.
Yeah. So your people. So, okay. Hey, here's a guy that crossed the border illegally. He's raped 12, 10-year-olds. Here's another one that's killed somebody. Here's another one's done. Are these the people that you're saying are your people?
Exactly. But because she has Mexican heritage and she wants to make it as if this, concerns her personally, which is so fake, first of all. Even if the tears were real or fake, what she's actually saying is that. What you mean, my people? Because what we're talking about is the criminals. We're talking about people who have already broken the law and we're sending them back. What about all those gangs that were taking off apartment complexes and things like that?
Exactly.
So who are you really talking about, Selena? Like, this was really sad. And I really used to like her. Like, Selena and Justin Bieber, like that whole time period was when I was a teenager. So that really hit me today. Like when I saw her on the crying, I just felt like slapping her. But anyways, I want to play this response video to Selena because this woman said it perfectly.
Good.
Selena Gomez, let me explain something to you so quickly. And I told myself I was going to calm down and chill out and be a cool voice of reason on this app, but you people make it really hard. Your people, you're not from Mexico, number one. You were born in Texas, one of the greatest states here in the United States of America. You are afforded rights and privileges that these immigrants do not have. And need I remind you, they are illegal. They broke the law. And most of the criminals, violent criminals who are being taken out of this state, they're not even from Mexico. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, some of them are, and yes, Mexico is receiving deportees back because, again, they broke the law. But to go online crying, put a Mexican flag and say, my people, I'm so sorry. That's a little dramatic if you ask me, right? Do celebrities literally, like, you guys don't need the clout, okay? You are very well off. You have made millions and millions of dollars. Do you just go online and look up trending topics and go, let me sympathize with what's going crazy right now? Where was your outrage for the 400,000 missing children on the border? Where was your outrage for the women and children getting completely taken advantage of and raped on the border? Where was your outrage for Aurora, Colorado? Where's your outrage for North Carolina and LA when billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer money is going to illegal immigrants who are not even citizens of this country? Get a grip, and I'm glad you took that video down because you knew what was coming for you. And any ounce of research would have told you that was wrong and it wasn't going to look good.
Mic drop.
Agreed. I could have not said it better.
Yeah.
I'm
Tell
sick
that.
of these people. I'm sick of celebrities. I'm sick of the fake outrage. I'm sick of it. While she sits in her multi-million-dollar mansion, when she's made millions on stupid music, when she's made millions on stupid TV shows for kids that just rot your brain.
Yep.
Like, what have you really contributed to society or to this country that makes you relevant to the conversation? You know what I mean? Like, you are irrelevant on so many levels that you should just be happy with the lot in life you got and try to help people with the money you got and shut up. Like, that is all you need to do. Shut up.
And see, and this is the great thing that's happening across America right now is the way you feel about this, Ruby. A lot more people are starting to get to that point. They're starting to see that the celebrities are just propaganda bullshit. They're starting to see that they're going against the media. They're going against these people. They're not buying what they're selling anymore. And that freaks the deep state out.
Yeah. Jimmy,
we're in a new America right now. It's a new America.
I agree with you because I listened to Paul Harvey for about 10 years. And then after that, I listened to Rush Limbaugh for 30 years as a Jehovah's Witness kid growing up on the radio. I was addicted to the radio. And what you just said is so powerful, Jimmy, what you just said. Because back then there was a voice, maybe Goldwater, maybe Paul Harvey, maybe Rush Limbaugh. It was like a voice crying in the wilderness. Now there's what Rush Limbaugh used to be a voice for 80 million Americans. He died. Now there's 80 million Americans talking like him.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's called the Great Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us were a little ahead of the curve on that, but
Yes. Let me ask you a
I
question.
giggle. Sure, go ahead.
What I've seen the last couple of days from the cabinet, people who have been approved. This is what I got, and I wrote some notes down on it, 2 right now. But I noticed that there's only one Donald Trump, but there literally has to be 100 Donald Trumps, 1,000 Donald Trumps, 1,000,000 Donald Trump. And I'm starting to see that in the cabinet with Marco Rubio, the way he's ignoring the calls from the European Union leaders, or Pete Hegseth, he's going around firing people. They're acting like little Donald Trumps. They've been empowered. So men, they can use their testicles if they were like in the lockbox the last 12, 20 years. And And now
I mean, it's like Tom Homan coming out and saying what he said.
Right.
You know? Because we are sick of what's been happening to this country. And we know we got our voice back and we're going to use it. And unfortunately, it offends some people, which we say, get over it. We had to put up with your transgender woke bullcrap forever. And especially in the last 3 years. And we were demonized if we spoke about it, or we were transphobia or this or that. You know what? Screw your gaslighting. We're going to speak up now because
let me show you what we had to deal with. This is what Jimmy's talking about. Let me show you the bullshit we had to deal with.
Character is on the ballot. Compassion is on the ballot. Decency, science, democracy, they're all on the ballot. Who we are as a nation, what we stand for, and most importantly, who we want to be. That's all on the ballot. How old are you, 17? The choice.
Exactly.
You know what, Ruby?
That's what we had to deal with.
In 75, 76, 77, 78, all the way to 80. This is what we had to live with Jimmy Carter. Those of us who lived through it, we remember, clear as a bell. You went to school, walking to school like a... And then when Reagan won, it was like men were men again. We could cuss, we could scream, you could be a man again. We were like walking eternal women. our country turned into a big sissyhood.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Reagan came along and said, no, the bombing starts in 10 minutes. And they would get mad. Their heads would roll, you know. And then he goes, will you shut up? He goes, no, I paid for this microphone. It's like he was Trump. It was like he was Trump before Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like history's repeating itself, you know? Yeah.
Masculinity's making a comeback in America.
Yeah. Did you see Barron Trump? Did you see what one did you see that a lip reader claims that he read the lips? What do you think? Do you think that's true? I don't know.
You know, I've looked at that several times. What did he say? He said it's on.
It's on. Yeah.
I've looked at that clip several times, and he very well could have said that
because his mom tells him to be nice.
Yeah, please try to be nice. That was great.
Please
and
be
Jimmy,
nice.
when he's standing up to me, like I love my father to death.
Oh yeah,
do you think he's trying to defend his father? He like lords over his father almost.
He admires his father. He and Trump admires him.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at the way he looked at the inauguration, this was interesting. He looked like a little mini Donald Trump back when Trump was that age.
Yeah.
Because he normally when you've seen him, his hair has been kind of poofy or whatever. He had the slick back look this time. He had the black suit on that mimicked Trump.
Splitting image of his father, like as if he meant to recreate the look, the energy, the vibes.
Exactly.
And even when he pointed at his father, he did the same Trump point and thumbs up, like they could see each other. They're on the same vibes. I love that.
Yeah, it was great.
I wanted to share what Gigi sent me through the email. This is a tweet, and it says, "This Fiesta Mart Mexican grocery store is empty. The woman who posted this video said this was not taken after hours or while it was closed. She said everyone is avoiding ICE and Border Patrol agents. Not only aren't there customers, where's all the employees?" It is completely empty. And I've been seeing these videos and people making jokes. They put like a clip of a movie of people skipping through Walmarts and it's empty and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, now Americans can actually shop in peace. And I think it's funny, but I mean, that's how it used to be when I was little. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're going back to those vibes and I'm loving it.
There was I saw one ex post that talked about his job site. And she said something about the job site where normally there'd be 40 trucks in the parking lot at this job site, but today there was only like 8.
Yep, Gigi said that as well. The job site is reporting only 8 out of 43 workers showed up for work.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? I live in Yuma, Arizona, and we got the cartels down here. We got Barry Goldwater bombing range. We got California next door. I mean, but we were blessed. We're spoiled. Because, like, for instance, our town is busting. Everybody's busy. There's Mexicans, there's blacks, there's whites, there's military, there's old people, there's Canadians. We got the whole freaking United Nations going on over here in Yuma. We got the 3 countries, all the Canadian tourists, all the Mexicans. Everybody is surviving here in Yuma. But, you know, when you see reports on Yuma, they did it right. I don't know what happened to our state because we used to be a Republican state. But for example, we have what is called the guest worker program. My sister-in-law, who's a representative in Congress here in the State House, she works in an agriculture. They have guest worker program and everything is done legally. There's rows of apartments full of agricultural workers and they all have, I don't know if they're green cards, but they're agriculture cards. And they all go home and they all live and shop in the streets. They walk up and down the town. I mean, everybody's, I don't want to sound kumbaya, but living in harmony, relative harmony, because everybody's doing it the right way.
I saw a comment that I wanted to kind of touch on the illegal immigration, these people not being around anymore. What was, let's go back in time in history to the Civil War and the Republicans wanting to end slavery. What was the argument that the people that wanted slavery, what was the argument they were making?
That they bought them, like the money.
Well, let me see if
They
I.
got them money.
That's not what I'm thinking, but
Okay.
it's right. But
Let's go back to the 1850, right before 1860 war. Right before that, it was the introduction of Kansas into the Union. And was Kansas going to be a free state, or was Kansas going to be a slave state? So there was a lot of debate as the states were entering the Union. Were they going to be pro-slave states? So it was a lot of state rights issues going on at that time.
Yeah.
that's correct. But I'm going somewhere else with this in relation to today.
Oh,
What
how
was it?
about cheap labor? Cat B says cheap labor.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Let's go a little further on that
Beyond.
line.
It was slave labor.
What were they saying? I'm trying to get somebody to say it.
Jane says slave work, farms, maids, and pick cotton.
Exactly. That's where I'm going. So the argument that they were making back then for freeing the slaves was, well, who's going to pick our cotton? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that?
Right.
And didn't they find a way to take care of that?
Mm-hmm.
So this argument that the left is making now about who's going to work in our fields, who's going to be the janitor, it will get taken care of.
Yeah. You know what? I invite anybody to come to Yuma, Arizona and see how it's done. The fields are full of workers, the best workers in the world. And sometimes they're recruited in Mexico. They got their phones but they do everything legally. They register, they got green card, they're tax-paying citizens, not tax-paying citizens, but they're resident card. And then they go back for the rest of the year. But when the season comes up, they come back again. And sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. And they get paid cold hard cash and they send it back. But it's a guest worker program. It's
You know what
legal.
just hit me? This thought literally, I love it when this happens. I think there should be a program once we get rid of the freaking Department of Education, and maybe a state will catch on to this idea. But I think there should be a program set up or curriculum set up to where kids need to go and learn farming. Have a course on that, or be required to go work on a farm as part of your curriculum.
Yeah, electives.
Elective, yeah.
We did that in Yuma. We did that in Yuma in the 50s, 60s, and 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
What
Isn't
happened was...
Isn't that what 4-H was about?
No. Before, there was no such thing as free books. Or education was only in the 8th grade. So when you went to high school, you had to buy your books. You had to buy everything. And so all the kids in Yuma back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they all worked in the farms. Everybody picked watermelon and melons, and you would make money, and you were real buff. The whole town worked at the farms, and everybody had money. And you go back to school, you buy your clothes. Mom and dad didn't have money to spend for your books. You had to earn, let's say, $150 for your books. You had to work that summer. So all the kids in our generation, we were all working since we were little kids.
Yeah.
Right. We need to bring back that work ethic back, and that pull yourself by your bootstrap type of ethics back to America. I think they also used to have the physical education, all of the men and the women doing push-ups in it, and like a boot camp for physical education. And now they watered it down so badly that there's fat kids. Like, why are you fat? Like, why are you obese?
I remember when I was in grade school, elementary school, we had the Presidential Fitness Award, where you had to go through all that. I got it 4 times,
Nice.
6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd grade. And it was very uncommon. I mean, honestly, I can only remember from grade school, only one fat kid in our class.
Right. Like, we need to go back to that.
His name was Dallas. I can't remember his May. I think it was Dallas May, was it? But anyway, that's beside the point. But it wasn't something that we seen when I was growing up. And if you go back and look at pictures of Woodstock, do you see any obese people in the pictures of Woodstock? No, you don't. So this is why, it's so important for RFK to do what he's going to do, is to make America healthy again, because we were healthy at one point. So our foods have been poisoned. Our water's been poisoned. We got to get rid of that stuff.
Right. And that's why I like the homeschooling community, because all of these homeschoolers, they have such a backyard. They have their own chicken, their own animals. They
Yeah.
have their own free eggs right there. And if more communities would allow that to happen, everybody can self-sustain. You can grow your own garden, your own food, have your own little chickens giving you free eggs once in a while.
Trade.
What's so hard about that?
Well, and another thing, if you want to look at this in a spiritual sense, by going out there and working a garden or you are reconnecting with the energy field, the natural energy field of the planet. And it builds your immune system. You go out there and you go look up what grounding is. I know some people know what that is, but when you're working outside, go do it barefooted. Or go walk around in your grass barefooted you'll feel so much better. So when I'm out there working in our garden, I just feel better.
Yeah.
I just feel better versus being in the wintertime, you're stuck in the house and you just, oh my God, I'm so tired. We wake up Saturday morning and we just really don't want to do anything. And then we end up wasting the whole day. Yeah. It makes you lazy. And then, unfortunately, with the society the way it's been, by distracting our kids with video games and all this stuff, it keeps them from going out and experiencing this.
Exactly. So that's the freedom of school choice and homeschooling to allow this to happen. And the public education systems should have that. And they don't. I think Florida, actually, Governor DeSantis put a mandatory elective of finance for high schoolers to learn about money and the banking and all that kind of stuff, because these kids don't even know how to write a check. They don't even know what a check is.
Oh, I have my stepson. He's got a daughter. She's now 20. Well, I think it's a stepdaughter. 23, 24. He called me up the other day to ask me if I would teach her the basics of taking care of your books and how to set a budget. 24 years old.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, we need to be taught these things. Our kids need to be taught these things, because what's going to happen, they're going to grow up, they're going to get in there, and then they're going to rely on mommy and daddy to take care of them forever.
Exactly. And that's what my mother did to me. And it really hindered me because I didn't know how to live my life without her. And that's dangerous. They need to be so self-dependent, even independent, that they can live their life without you, because you're not going to be here forever and you need to prepare them for the outside world.
Exactly. I totally agree with that, Ruby. And this is what I have said all the time. There for a while, I had certain family members that wanted to borrow money off of me. Happens with my wife, somebody wanting to borrow money, blah, 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 and just not taking care of their responsibilities and doing what they need to do. So I came up with this thing. I'm like, you need to figure this out, because what would you do if I died tomorrow?
Exactly.
So parents out there need to get that attitude when it comes to educating their kids on these things. Don't coddle them. Don't coddle them. You got to teach them, because how are they going to survive if you're not around? You want to make sure that they're self-sustainable.
Hey guys, what about this? Let me throw this at you on the obesity and the kids. The destruction of the Department of Energy on the federal level. When I was a kid growing up in the 70s and my siblings in the 60s, the school cafeteria, the exhaust fans, they were so beautiful. It was almost like a Catholic church bell. Ding! And it tells everybody to come to church on Sunday. School breakfast and school lunch was so good. Mrs. Abril, I remember her. And her kitchen was so damn beautiful and so good. It's not like Michelle Obama's lunch. And then you had to buy your breakfast. You had to work. So breakfast was $0.25 and lunch was 40 cents. So you had to take money. If you didn't, you took a school lunch. But I think it was because we weren't part of the Department of Energy. Everything was done at the local level. The PTA, parent teachers were allowed. And the same thing happens with books. I remember you had to buy everything. And I think my age, I'm 56 years old. I got to live when when I went to school, there was no free lunch, and then I started seeing free lunch. And you
Right.
had to buy your books, and I got to be the last couple years of my school year, I got to see that we were getting free books, the kids that were coming in after me. And
Mhm.
it was really like a life change because
Yeah.
it was an end of an era.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So
exactly what it is.
these kids that got free lunch, I don't think they appreciated it. And I think the food got terrible.
Of course.
Yep.
Yes. Anything that's free is. You should always be skeptical of anything that's free. And I even tell my youngest, he's like 7, or he's turning 7, but he's 6, and he says, he says things like that, like, "Oh, I'll just take it. It's free." I said, "No, nothing in this world is free. You have to work for it."
Yep.
And that's where you need to start. And so we started playing Monopoly, and that's a great way to show them value and money and buying, selling, trading. And then there was a card, that community chest, that came up, and it said you have to trade one of your properties with your opponent. And I said, "Okay, so I'm gonna pick whichever one I want." And then he looked at me and he was like, "Okay, commie," like he communist. And I was like, "Excuse me?" And they started laughing at me. And I was like, "Hey, relax." And they're
He
only
was
7
right.
years old.
He was
Hey,
right.
Ruby, in regards to this, go do a quick search for a video. It's really cute. It's only like 15 seconds. Kid cries about taxes.
Is that on YouTube?
It could be on YouTube. It could be on X. But if you see what she pulls up, because it's funny as crap.
Kids hate taxes.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he said that. I was shocked, and
It-
that's how funny they are.
It's so-
Okay, I think I see it here. Let me show you my screen.
It's so funny.
Is this kid right here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where's all your money gone, Daddy? Taxes. 9, 10, 11. Let me fix my houses. It's okay. It's part of the game. No, it's not.
Exactly.
It's not fun to what? It's the worst part of the game. It's what? Taxes.
That was me with my first job. I said, "What the hell is this?"
So that's a good segue into what President Trump is doing now with taxes. I told folks, and I was laughed at back in 2020, 2021, that there may come a day to where we will see the abolishment of the IRS and taxes. I was laughed at.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But-
Do you want to play the clip? You want to play
Sure.
the clip?
Sure, play it.
All right. This is what Trump said.
He's going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. You know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money. And that was all made through tariffs. We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
Absolutely, it makes sense. Why hasn't this been done before?
Because the deep state was in control and they're not anymore.
So what happened in 1913?
That's when the creation of the progressive income tax and the Federal Reserve took place.
Okay. Okay.
You haven't watched the Big Picture episodes, have you, Ruby?
I started to. I have it bookmarked. I just have to watch it. I mean, January
so-
has been crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
So I'm gonna let you off the hook on this, okay? Anyway, I'm just giving you crap. So for the folks that don't know, I'm pretty sure most folks in the chat already do know this, but the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, 1912, 19 whatever, and then right along with the Federal Reserve coming into play, how were they going to fund their banking system? They had to tax the citizens. So that created the creation of the progressive income tax. Originally, it was meant for just the higher ups, but it eventually got to a point where it affected all Americans. And both things, the creation of the Federal Reserve and the passage of the progressive income tax, every bit of it is unconstitutional.
Right. Okay. And I do know that, but I also ask the question so that you can explain it for anybody else who might not know about that. And it's kind of funny. I learned that through homeschooling. Like I always tell you, the Tootle Twins. I don't know if you know that cartoon.
Yeah, they're great. They're great.
Okay. So they have a cartoon about that, the Jekyll's Island, and they have a book about it.
Yeah.
So that's where I learned what that was, because I've never heard that in my life. So I started playing the episodes for my kids as part of our curriculum. And I bought all the books and I have everything. And so that's what I homeschool with. And if it wasn't for the Tootle Twins, I would have never known. You know?
And see, and this is where the whole thing with the Titanic comes into play, is because three of the guys that were against the creation of the Federal Reserve, and well, basically against the creation of the Federal Reserve because they knew, they just died on the Titanic.
Exactly.
So that's all connected.
And I think another reason why Trump is so powerful, whether people love him or hate him, that's fine. But I just wanted to say that I think the reason he's so great in the tax question is that we always have a tax argument. John F. Kennedy wants to cut, and then Lyndon Johnson raises the Great Society, and Richard Nixon abolishes the gold standard, and then Gerald Ford just keeps it floating, and Jimmy Carter raises the hell out of taxes, and Ronald Reagan brings down the tax rate, and Bill Clinton raises it back up, and George W. Bush brings it back down. It's always this ebb and flow, but Trump says, no, think big. Eliminate the whole son of a bitch. I mean, he's thinking outside the box. He's thinking outside the box. He's bigger than Kennedy. He's bigger than Reagan. He's bigger than Bill Clinton. Now, I'm not saying Bill Clinton is not a great man. I'm not saying Kennedy's, but he's thinking outside of what they're thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
and that's why I voted.
He's just going back to what's worked before.
Yes. That's true.
That's it.
Yes, but none of the other guys had the common sense to think like that.
Well, it's not that they didn't have the common sense, that they were players in the deep state. They wanted the system. That's what they wanted. It had nothing to do with them, being smart or having. No, they were paid to destroy America, and that's what they were doing.
Exactly. That I agree with that one.
And we all participated. And along comes this guy. He goes, "Hey guys, think different. Think different. Think out of the box."
Yeah.
Remember when he was running, he kept saying, "Guys, don't be afraid to dream big." That's what he was talking about. Get outside of this conventional way where we're talking.
Look at
black,
the big,
white, yeah.
And see, I put this post out, and this is what a lot of folks, I hope they can resonate. It resonates with somebody. But we are literally living on two different timelines right now. We have a group of people who still want to believe in the woke ideology and all doom and gloom. Look at look at the timeline the Jehovah's Witnesses are on, and then look at the timeline that folks like myself are on. We want freedom. We want unity. We want prosperity. We know that we can do better. We can all do better. So I'm gonna tell you right now that I do believe that the timeline that we're on is it's going to happen. There are going to be some great things because we're done with living in fear. We're done having to be feeling all this anxiety and stuff.
All right. Question for Jimmy. Did you see Trump's presentation for Davos? He was like a roaring lion.
I did watch it. I did watch his presentation at Davos. It was he basically told them, yeah, America's sovereign again, and we're not falling for your bullshit no more.
Okay, good.
I did see it. It was really good. But I tell you, the other one that did good too was Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. He gave Davos a spanking in his speech.
Okay.
So,
hey Jimmy, can I tell you, I really enjoyed what you said about 2 timelines, because I really enjoyed it, Jimmy, because that's what I always talk to Gilbert about, that we live in 2 timelines, and I got to see it in the life and time of Rush Limbaugh. For example, he lived in the left versus right. And I remember when I was a kid, I would hear a Ronald Reagan speech, and he says, there really is no left and right. There's only up or down. And I would scratch my head because I only understood the left and right paradigm.
Right.
And then Rush Limbaugh, one of the greatest patriots of the 20th century and the early 21st century, died without seeing the globalist agenda and the nationalist agenda. Yeah. So here's a man who was so involved in the left-right struggle, he really didn't ever enter into this new paradigm that we're living in now. Like you're talking about 2 paradigms. It's so true. Some people are stuck on one fight when there's a different fight. The whole world is changing before our eyes. There really is no left and right, like Ronald Reagan used to say. There's only up or down. Either you elevate mankind or you bring down mankind.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with the little Operation Spotlight we're doing. There's 2 timelines. There's people that are going to be like, oh, this ain't going to work. This is stupid. This is a waste of time. Trump's not going to listen to you. And then you have us who think, yeah, this is great. We're doing it. Screw you.
Yeah.
It's kind of on a mini scale, but it's 2 separate timelines.
Yeah, we're going forward. Yeah, you got to go forward. You're going to play the game, and we don't care if you come along or not.
Right.
You know, we'd like you to join us. Yeah.
What do you think about the Costco thing? Costco was refusing to remove their DEI standards, which we mentioned before that Trump took it off, and everybody was, removing the flags, removing all of that crap we've been seeing. They've been removing it from buildings and federal stuff and things like that. But Costco said no. What do you think about Costco? And the chat, please let me know as well. What do you think about Costco?
So for me, I've never liked Costco. I've never liked Sam's Club. I've never been a member of any of those big box stores. I think they're stupid. When it first came out, when big, Sam's Club or whatever first came out, and they said, oh, you got to buy a membership, pay membership. I'm like, why do I need a membership to shop somewhere? If I need to do that, then I don't need to be shopping there. I have never been into a Costco, been to a Sam's Club a couple of times, but those were all the wife's choices at the point. Anyway, I don't like those places. And we all know what happens if you go woke. Everything woke turns to what?
Crap.
So they better get on board, because if they don't, they're going to lose revenue.
Yeah, agreed. I've never had a membership, but I am the type to boycott. I have boycotted Netflix, Target, Disney, any of those organizations. I have boycotted movie theaters. I've boycotted streaming services. I don't have TV or television. I boycotted a lot of things, and I don't ever plan on going back either. I'm not the type to be forgiving when it comes to consumerism and companies and things like that, because I am not of that world. So I will never participate in it again. If it's not for free, I'm not doing it.
There you go.
So with the Costco thing, I would just say delete your membership. Don't waste your money if they're not serving your values or whatever. I just wouldn't waste my money on that. And we have to start protesting with your dollar. Like Gigi used to say, to protest with your feet and move away, right? I would also do it with your wallet. Do not shop at these places. I wouldn't go to Target ever again. And I did go to Target recently to get a dress. And that's how hard it was that I had to bend the knee on my own standard and go back to Target, because even these stores are not the same like back in the day where you could find a beautiful white dress down the block. It's like you're forced to go to a big company to get the same item you could have gotten at a thrift store or like a mom and pop little shop. It doesn't exist anymore after COVID and just after so many years. It's like you're forced to go to a big store, and I hate that. So I only went to Target like once, but in reality, if I didn't need a dress, I would never shop there ever again.
Gotcha. Yeah. I had a thought and just left, but wow. Once people understand these little programs, let's say DEI, for example, once you come to the realization that all that is a tool used by the globalists to push their agenda, then anybody that is promoting that is going along with the globalist. And I'm going to not participate.
Yep. I like this comment. Doreen says, my pastor told us to boycott Target. And yeah, because they were really doing a lot of disgusting things with the whole with the LGBTQ and kids thing.
Yep.
I would say the same thing about the like the Fourth Amendment on the Florida ballot that just passed about the abortion issue. If you consider yourself a Christian, you would vote no on something like that. And I remember my priest, he posted it on Facebook too. He was like, we know how to vote on this. And if you don't vote, saying no to abortion, you could get excommunicated for that because you are complicit in the murder of unborn babies. And that's how serious we take it. You see what I'm saying? Like, we get involved, we do something, we vote, like they do the March for Life. Even the Orthodox Christians were just doing the March for Life that just passed.
Yep.
And that was so nice to see. Go ahead, Jeff.
Ruby, on your list of talking points,
yeah,
you just reminded me. Did you put in there the church's involvement in the globalist money redistribution, human trafficking?
It's not on that list, but I do know of it, which Jimmy did talk about earlier.
That's going to be a Babylon the Great moment if we ever saw one. The churches were in on it. Big time.
I put out a meme the other day. Yeah, meme. It showed a picture of Trump. And it said people are going to be shocked when they realize that their favorite religion was nothing but a big corporation, something to that effect, and that, Trump's coming for you. This is why I say Operation Spotlight needs to be done now, because it's being talked about.
Me and Gilbert did a video about a year ago, or maybe more, and I think Jimmy was one of the first times we talked, and I even mentioned it to you. That we don't know. We have no evidence, but so many NGOs, 501c3s were involved in getting money. Yep. Was the Watchtower involved? I mean, it's a fair question. We don't know because we can't audit the books. Did they get money for human trafficking or for helping?
I've got a source that's going to be sending me some information on that particular subject.
There you go. That's what Jimmy said earlier. And I do know of the Catholics being involved in having those those fake organizations that they would help the migrants and give them IDs or something like that, food or clothes or whatever.
I did look up on the Department of Agriculture website on the, and the Watchtower is in there on receiving monies during COVID for Department of Agriculture, but it was all low level money where I could see it was probably but it wasn't in the millions. It was in the tens of thousands of dollars for specific locations.
Y'all remember the boxes of food that were sent out between the congregation?
Yes.
That came from Trump.
Yes, and they took the flyer out and they said, "Oh, this is from Jehovah," and no, it was from the administration.
It was Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watchtower took that. They hid that information from the people.
But it wasn't that much money. Wasn't. I mean, it wasn't in the millions. The human trafficking would run into the millions.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
But isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that all them Jehovah's Witnesses thought, "Oh, the governing body's providing," and when in all actuality, it came from the Trump administration.
But they wouldn't know that because they don't even bother asking. And if they would bother asking and they find out the truth, and then they're dumbfounded, like, why would the organization not tell us? It's like, duh, they don't want to tell you because they're getting help from Satan, the government, and they don't want you doing that. They don't want you to
Yep.
know where they got it from. They just
Yep.
want you to assume that it was
You-
from the governing body.
Yep.
Yeah. What I always thought, the image of the beast, when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, the image of the beast, and we would speculate that maybe it was the United Nations. But one of the things we're seeing is maybe it's the NGOs, because they're very powerful. These NGOs, they're a non-governmental organization, but they move money, people all over the world.
Yeah, well, they're in the crosshairs right now, so we're gonna see some movement on that.
Did you see this, Jimmy? I wanted to ask you about this, about the border. They were seeing some released drone footage showing cartel gunmen suspected of firing at U.S. Border Patrol agents earlier
I heard
today,
about-
and that was on the 27th.
I heard about that.
Okay, what do you think is going to happen there, if anything?
You remember what happened to ISIS?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's our southern border, though. Do you really think they would go in or do anything over there?
Yeah,
Really?
I think they're a terrorist organization, and I think it'd be more of a special ops situation, but I'm just trying to look at the way Trump would act.
Yeah,
And
look at what Jesse put.
what he put?
FAFO.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
If Trump feels the need to protect the border agents, protect American citizens, and if he feels like, they get the ISIS treatment,
Yes.
yeah, do it. I'm for it.
Okay. I don't know if that would ever happen. I don't think it will, but if it did, I would never doubt Trump ever again. Like that has been one of my biggest questions, whether or not he would go that far about the border. So I don't know.
I mean, hey, labeling them as a domestic or as a terrorist organization,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Right. I agreed. And I'm like, okay, so do you think the next step is going in, like invading or bombing it or doing something crazy?
I would say it's not off the table.
Okay. Well, I guess we will find out. Next thing I wanted to show Jimmy. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen this?
What is this?
That we know. And that number has started to already come down, Emily, from 300,000. So they found about 75 to 80,000 of those kids already. If they can get the list of these guys, 4 full days in office for Trump, if they can get the list of where some of those kids have been and they've been identifying it, since the election, going after them and trying to find those little ones, what in the world was Biden's administration doing? What was Secretary of Homeland Mayorkas doing when he said to the committees on Capitol Hill, we don't know where those kids are, I'll look into it? No, dude, you obviously had a better way to find them, and you didn't do your job. I can't believe they impeached him and didn't remove him. It's just incredible what a little competence can.
That's my question exactly. What in the world were they doing if they knew about it? And we already spoke about this earlier, that they knew about this. That's why it's so easy for this administration to actually take action, because it was already there. You just have to enforce the law that's already there.
Yeah. What's going on right now is you're watching a cleanup operation.
Yeah.
Trump has come in here and he's cleaning up the mess that Biden left. And he's showing along the way how inept that administration was and how capable they could have been if they were for America. To take care of these things, but they didn't.
So Doreen was asking about flashing street lights. They were flashing all over the U.S. I don't know anything about any flashing street lights.
I haven't heard anything about flashing street lights.
Yeah, I haven't, but I would look into that.
You mean people are going up and taking off their shirt in front of streetlights?
No,
my God.
No. But
Oh,
do you
yeah.
remember about the fog that we had recently?
Yeah.
Okay, I came across this video. I don't know if you've seen it. I will play it, but I remember the Sky telling me that I should cover this because there was a weird fog going around, and I was like, okay, like I guess, but I didn't find anything until now. So this is interesting what this lady says.
Have you been wondering what was in that chemical fake fog that was covering half the world before the next PSYOP started? Well, it turns out people have been testing the clumps of leftover crap from it, and it's actually loaded with trillions of parasites. Some of the symptoms of a recent infection are UTIs, respiratory infections, pneumonia, and meningitis. Pretty interesting that there's been a rise in cases of pneumonia recently. This is actually considered biological warfare, and they've been put in there because they know parasites keep you sick, which is, of course, why it's suppressed by Rockefeller medicine. What a surprise. So if you live in one of the areas that had the fog, I would do a parasite cleanse ASAP. They're coming at us from all directions. The air, our food, the sky, God knows what else. And it's up to us to change the terrain of our body to help us detox from all this garbage. This is for entertainment purposes only. Consult your Rockefeller indoctrinated medical professional for medical advice.
Ah, that's funny.
Hey,
That's
you know
hilarious.
what? You know how it rained in LA a couple days ago? So we here in Yuma, we get what comes in from San Diego, and Phoenix gets what comes in from LA when it comes in a straight line. So it hasn't rained here, like from LA to Phoenix to Yuma since August. Measurable rain, real dry, and it rained a couple of days ago, and for the last 8 months, 6 months, 7 months, all the clouds are straight lines. Like when we were kids, you could go out and you could see Puff the Magic Dragon and Cotton Balls. But now that it rained in LA and the clouds are coming in from the Pacific, they're beautiful clouds. But I swear to God, for the longest time, you go out every day and all the lines are straight. That's not natural.
Nope.
All the clouds are straight lines going along the Mexican-American border and running east to west, but they're not puffy clouds until the storm came in the other day from LA. Now you got puffy clouds, but we hadn't seen them in months. You know how they look like cotton balls? The clouds?
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been an exciting week. Lots happened. A lot more is going to happen. We're going to have to, as a team, we're going to have to stay visible for folks because we're going to have to make sense of everything that's going on so we can help others when they ask questions. And that's why I love doing what we do.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna make like Spyro Agnew in the '76 campaign. I'm gonna have to leave.
All right, Jesse. Thank you for
I gotta go.
joining.
Hey,
Have a great
good
night.
night.
See you, Jesse.
Great stuff.
Yes, thank you so much for joining. That was really fun. Okay. We could wrap it up after this one thing if you want, Jimmy, because I wanted to dive into a little conspiracy, and I don't know if you heard this one.
We'll go one more.
So this conspiracy is about the Statue of Liberty. Have you heard it before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play the clip, and I've never heard this before, so I'm gonna ask you about it. What's your opinion? So I'm just play it.
Okay.
This is the 2D image of Statue of Liberty on Google Earth. Somebody told me that I needed to watch I Pet Goat, so I looked it up, and let me show you what I've seen off of it. Has to do with the Statue of Liberty here. Well, yeah, of course I went to Google Earth to see if this was real. Check this out.
So check this out. Seal of Solomon sits over the Statue of Liberty when you line up all these points. When you line up the points, it finishes off the rest of it. See that? Watch closely. And in the middle, just like everything else, it says RAM. RAM. And do you see how the outside circle fits these points? Just look, it's all made for the shit. It's all made for it. This is who runs the show, man. They own this country, and we're too stupid to see it. But check out what else. See the shadow here? Now Google plays a part in this crap. Google Earth. They hide images. Now check this out. So now we know the Seal of Solomon fits over the Statue of Liberty perfectly and made for it. Here's another Seal of Solomon. that actually fits in there. I don't know. Are those breasts? I don't know what's going on there, but whenever you line it up, as above, so below, when you line it up on that center line, watch the shadow that Google Earth leaves on the Statue of Liberty. Is that a coincidence?
Wow.
Is it a coincidence? Leave a comment.
How do you feel about that? Have you seen that?
Okay, so that particular video I have not seen, but
Okay.
that kind of backs up some of the videos I have seen to where the Statue of Liberty is attributed to being a statue of Lucifer.
Okay, I think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I think I heard that.
And all the symbolism behind that. Yeah, that's another rabbit hole to go down. And I'll say that in the digital soldier world, there's a list of 34 satanic sites that are listed, and we think that, you know, most of them are going to be taken out. Statue of Liberty is on that list.
What do you mean taken out?
Well, so you know the Georgia Guidestones? You know what happened to them, right?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, it was destroyed, I believe.
They were on the list.
Oh. Okay,
So
but
that
was that
I'll-
natural or unnatural?
What, the Georgia
The
Guidestone?
demolition? Yeah, like was that
Yeah,
was that
that was
natural?
done on purpose.
Okay, so that's what it is. I don't know how it was broken or how it was like demolished.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they say that some people came in and set bombs to it and everything. Nah, that was taken out by the White Hat military, in my opinion.
Okay, so you think that that was going to happen to other sites?
Yes,
And
because
Statue
on
of
that
Liberty is
on that list, I think there's 7 of them so far, and I have to go back and look at the list. Maybe I can find it, send it to you, and we can talk about it next week. But that's one of the things that we're watching out for. Washington Monument is on that list.
Okay. That's weird, right? Like, why would they?
There's 34 sites, satanic sites. You might be able to do a quick search on X. Type in 34 satanic sites.
Okay, let me see if that pops up.
Because if that pops up, it probably should. Maybe.
Okay, let's see. 34 satanic sites. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you. There's a list here.
That's it.
Notre Dame Cathedral in France was
Notre Dame.
okay. So that was number 18 on the list. So I guess they're assuming that the fire was intentional.
Correct. Then you had the one in Asheville near the Biltmore House. That was messed up through Helene. That's on that list.
Oh, okay. Oh, number 22, Statue of Liberty. There it goes. Number 20 is the Pentagon. So, I mean, what do they mean by that? Isn't that a government? That's a government building, though. Like,
well, it's a pentagon, so you know, it's a pentagon.
Okay. Oh, wow. I've never seen this list before. I'm glad I brought it up because this is very interesting.
Now, let's just say allegedly, but like Georgia Guidestones is on that. It's been a while since I've looked at the list.
Yes,
Three Gorges Dam is on there from China. So I think there's several.
Oh, wow.
So whenever anything happens in the news, you know, a lot of us, you know, okay, if something happens, we look to see if that site was on this list.
Oh, somebody said, Kat, she said Denver Airport. Yeah, I think Denver Airport is here. Yeah, number 8, Denver International Airport. That's weird. I've heard that airport. Is that the one with the UFO sightings and things like that?
Well, I don't know about the UFO, but I know all the artwork and everything they got there is very satanic.
Oh, wow. This is really interesting. Okay. Yeah, we
I
need to
saw
do a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I saw this list back in 2020.
Wow. This is blowing me away. Wow.
So, yeah, there's quite a few sites on there. So that's why I have said that if I see something happen to the Washington Monument, it's not going to freak me out. Or if I see something happen to the Statue of Liberty, it's not going to freak me out because they've been on these lists.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's our tonight. And
Little
if anybody
tidbit.
has any more, let us know.
Yeah, any more questions? Because yeah, it's getting late. Man, we can talk for a
Yes.
while.
Yes, we always do. We always spend this much time here, and sometimes I don't even realize it. But yeah, if anybody has comments or questions, enter them now because I'm about to wrap it up. Thank you to Gigi for joining, Jesse, Jimmy,
Dallas came on.
Dallas. Yes, thanks to Dallas for coming on. I love that. Well, there are no comments here yet, so let me know what you want to talk about next Tuesday. I mean, there's just so much that has already happened this week. I could only imagine what next week is going to bring.
I'm telling you, Ruby, this week, my phone, I looked at it the other day and it says, you have to use 3 hours and 26 minutes more on your phone this week. And I was like, you think between getting back on Facebook and reconnecting with like over 180 people already in a week, and then trying to put news out on X and trying to start this Operation Spot, it was a busy week. And then Trump doing everything he was doing. I was like, oh my God, I can't freaking keep up with everything.
Yeah. Question. Thrifty says, so Jimmy, the Washington Monument is behind Melania's official portrait. Is that a message?
Oh, is it really?
I think so. We should look that up.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, let's see. Well, yeah, because I didn't even notice that.
Okay, let's see. Yep. It is. Let me present my screen.
Interesting.
And it's the same pose that Donald did.
Oh, shit.
A while back.
Okay, good catch. Very good catch. Because we know that they always do something in pictures.
Yes, yes.
It's like, did you see the picture of Trump greeting Gavin Newsom on the tarmac? Go find that picture real quick. That's a good catch there. That's a very good catch. Holy crap.
Trump greeting Newsom
on tarmac.
On tarmac. Oh, okay. Let's see images.
Let's see.
Is that in 2025, right?
Yeah, just here recently, just last week.
Okay, let's see if I can share this tab. I mean, it's not actually giving me like photos. Do you see anything? Let me see. Let's go to images.
I may have put it on my X thread. It's that picture in the upper left-hand corner. Click on the upper left-hand. Is it just because it's a wider shot? There's a wider shot. There's a wider shot to that. I can't see. It's so small.
Okay, let's see. Is it something like this?
That's not the picture I'm looking for.
Okay. Let's see here. That's interesting.
Go through my X feed real quick.
Okay, let's go to you.
Isn't this fun? I love doing this.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I posted it. And so if you see a picture of Trump and Newsom, that'll be the one.
All right. We are going down Jimmy's feed right now on X. So let's see what he's got on here.
I don't know if it's on there or not.
Okay.
Maybe I send it to you guys in the chat because I don't see it.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see it.
The big picture on X group chat. Okay, let's go to it. All right.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Okay, so this was Gavin going to Melania.
Okay, all right. I don't know if you can. That yellow sign way in the back.
Yeah. It's blurry. Yeah, it's way too blurry.
Is it too blurry? Okay.
Yeah, super.
But you know what's on that sign?
No, I don't. What is it?
The number 17.
Wow, really?
Yes. There's a better picture. There's a better picture of that. And it shows the number 17 on there.
Okay, so next time if you ever find it again, share it on here.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me so we could see that.
A lot more fun stuff is coming. Oh, and Trump is speaking at Congress. He's been invited to speak at Congress on March 4th.
Oh, really?
Remember we talked about
what? Yes.
Remember we talked about March 4th being the actual inauguration day?
Yes.
And he's going to Congress to speak on March 4th.
Do you know what he's going to talk about?
I don't know. Don't know yet.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he's speaking in front of Congress like a State of the Union address.
Oh, okay. Debbie Smith says, what's the significance of 17?
Q. 17 is
the letter.
17 is
letter.
Q is the 17th letter. So 17 Q. Yeah.
Thrifty
That was
says
a-
17.
Do what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thrifty just said that 17 all equals 8, the infinity symbol. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Me neither. Okay.
But yeah, so 17 is Q.
Really? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. This is
And how many times have you heard Trump say 17?
I don't know. I haven't been that attentive.
Do one last search.
Okay.
Trump montage saying 17.
YouTube or just Google
Try X.
X. Okay, let me go back to X. Trump.
There's always a part of the show where we do this.
Yeah, we have to look up stuff on the go. Okay, so this one says that he says 17 5 times in a minute.
Yeah, that would be one. He's done it more, but
Okay, so this is what comes up on
The danger to our financial future does not come from crypto. It comes from Washington, D.C. It comes from trillions of dollars in waste, rampant inflation, and open borders while giving welfare and free health care to all of the illegal aliens that are pouring into our country by the millions and millions and millions. It comes from printing hundreds of billions of dollars to fund endless wars overseas while our cities are like combat zones here at home. 2 weeks ago in Chicago, 117 people were shot and 17 died. Afghanistan doesn't have anything like that. You know, you think about tough places. Look at what's happening with our cities. What's happening in the last 3 years, last 3.5 years. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Think of it. 117 over 4th of July weekend. 117 people were shot and 17 died. This is the United States of America? I don't think so.
there's a clip, Ruby. There's a clip. There's a video there where he just says 17 constantly. They show all the different times he says 17. And that means something. So, and then have you ever seen Trump doing his dance or anything or giving a speech and he does this? Well, let me make sure I get it on the camera. Where is that? He does this.
Yeah, I've seen that a little. Yeah, that got me.
You know what that is?
That's the letter, right?
That's air cues.
Okay. And when you Google on just regular, Google, that's the first thing that comes up. Trump, QAnon, and the number 17. Followers thinks he's speaking like in code. And you scroll down. And it's all QAnon stuff.
And it's on Google, right?
Yeah, this is
But I thought,
Bing.
yeah, but I thought it was just a crazy conspiracy. Why are they always talking about it?
Yeah. Or they always link the two. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't have like an independent perspective on it. They always have to like link it. I don't know. I guess it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride the last 4 years. That's why I'm not freaking out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you everybody for joining and giving us hints, being in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting.
We appreciate you guys and stay tuned for more information coming out about Operation Spotlight.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited. Thank you, Jimmy, for hopping on and, being here with me, guiding us, educating us, holding our hand through this journey.
I'm glad to help. I'm glad to serve.
Yes. All right, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. And if you want to follow us on X, please make an X account. Join the Big Picture X chat. Follow us on X. Follow Jimmy. Jimmy's back on Facebook.
Yeah, I have to let them in on the chat on the X thread, the Big Picture thread. I gotta let them in on that, I think. Or if they're interested, send us a message. Send Ruby a message. Send me a message because we put a lot of stuff on there, a lot of crazy stuff.
All day, every day, something's happening, and we discuss it there. Good night, everybody. Yeah, follow Jimmy on Facebook. I don't use Facebook for public things, so I'm more on X. So if you want to, share with us anything on X, do that. Email, Operation Spotlight. Be here for that. We're gonna keep tabs on that. And I guess we'll see what happens next week. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous. I know I say that a lot, but
you do say that a lot.
I know.
And what do I tell you? Don't be nervous.
Yeah, I know. But this one is a happy nervous. This is a happy nervous of like, oh, what is Trump gonna do this week?
Oh yeah, I get that. I'm like, what's he gonna do next? So there's so much more coming. So much more.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy. I guess I'll see you next Tuesday. Let me know whatever you find on X. Message me soon whenever you get a chance.
I will. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I'm a gun throwing patriot, God being patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun throwing patriot, God being patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it.
All red MAGA flags waving through the South like we just want 4 more years. Democrats can't get right. Trumping with that Yeezy flow. Don't go broke on Sleepy Joe. Make America great again.